apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
And with my pen hit the paper, oh shit.
What's good? You to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kel. I got my squad with me today. I got my man Mix Messiah in the building. What's going on, fam?
Yo, what's up, Kel? I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to this.
All right, no doubt. My man Nell trying out at NO. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, everybody? Just happy to be here, man. Talk about this crazy topic.
Crazy topic at that. Rel, 215 representative. What's good, bro?
Ooh, happy to be here again. What's up, everybody?
No doubt. I got my guy, I Am God, in the building with us today out of Shot Town. What's going on, fam?
I'm good. Y'all already know. Seize up, man. Chicago in here. What's good with everybody, man?
No doubt. And I got my man Easton, who is the reason we do these Sunday shows, because he's on the UK. So we got to get him in. So we do this Sunday show once a month just for my guy. What's going on, Easton?
I'm good, man. Appreciate that, man. Love from the UK, everyone.
No doubt. Before we get started, definitely got us in the bit. R.I.P. Shout out to DMX, one of the best who ever did it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Straight up and down. I tell people all the time, X to me is like Pac. I wasn't the biggest fan of his music, but I was a fan of the man, you know, which to me is more important than the music. You know what I mean? So, and that's just a testament to how dope he is, because it's not a lot of MCs that you can really be like, I was a fan of the man and not just the music. You take all the music away from X, I'm still a fan of that dude. So definitely RIP, shout out to him. Again, one of the greatest who ever did it. I Am God. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the album real quick? New album out. Before we even get started, let's chew on that.
Yes, so April 2nd, man, I just dropped my second album back, you know what I'm saying, since I tried to hang the mic up, The Eternal Reflection, you know what I'm saying. I dropped this one in conjunction with the homies over at Filthy Analects Records, you know what I'm talking about, independent label out of Chicago. So shout out to Decay, and it's produced entirely. It's another one MC, one producer effort, you know what I'm saying. It's produced entirely by the homie Custom Made. And the last joint, which was self-titled, I Am God, even though I was going by the name T the God then, it differs in that from sound. So I want people to go into this with fresh ears. I kind of liken it to, you know what I'm saying, like, you got to be ready to sit down at the dinner table, you know what I'm saying, have that good old Sunday dinner, you know what I'm saying. You got to be ready to digest some things when you go into this one. It's not just hard beats and hard bars. It's really a concept album. And I really didn't mean it, you know what I'm saying, to be that way. I actually went into this thing looking to make another joint like the first one, you know what I'm saying. But it became something different. So it's a concept album. It deals with heavily with the shit we go through in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, all the street shit, you know what I'm saying, with the drill era and all that. It's not necessarily about the drill era, it's more about Chicago and my experience in Chicago and how my eyes saw it, you know what I'm saying. I'm about to be 35, so of course I'm not of the drill era, you know what I'm saying. I was the era before that, you know what I'm saying, but it's basically Chicago through my eyes, you know what I'm talking about.
All right, no doubt. We're going to be talking more about the album. Before we get started, you already know what it is. Apartment 5B, sponsored by So What's the Scenario Game, Hip Hop Game, Card Game, Rel. You already know we running this shit back in the minute, because I sent Porsche a minute ago. We going to run this back again, because I'm still stuck on stupid that JR, the R&B rap. They don't even listen to me. So definitely going to run this back. Definitely a dope game. SoWhatGames.com. Definitely cop this. Use the promo code Apartment 5B. You get free shipping. Definitely something I put my name on. Definitely put my name behind. Is this joint right there. So today's show is going to be about. I was chopping it up with somebody on Twitter the other day. We got into the roots, and he was saying something about, I don't even need a new album. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm with you. I'm good. Like, Like the roots that are on Fallon ain't even my roots. And he was like, what you mean by that? And I was like, well, you know, these niggas done had like 100 members in the group. Like, you know what I mean? Like, throughout the years, I know most people out here just getting to know the roots just from that Blackmore freestyle. But, yo, I got a list here. I mean, you talking about Thought. The roots I know is Philadelphia and Things Fall Apart, which to me is Thought, Quest, Kamal on the keys, Malik B, Lennon Hubbard on the bass, Rozelle, the Godfather of Noise. That's the roots I know. These niggas done had Captain Kirk on guitar, Scott Storch. Yes, that Scott Storch was in the roots. On keys, James Poise on the keys. Then Scratch replaced Rozelle. Then Owen Biddle was in there. Ben Kinney was on the guitar. Dave the Guy on trumpet. Now they got a damn tuba player, Tuba Gooden Jr., Stro Elliott is part of the roots, Frankie Knuckles. Like, they've had all these members. And it had me thinking, like, with R&B, they always replace somebody. You know what I mean? In the Temptations, you know, David Ruffin left, you know, in comes Dennis Edwards. You know, New Edition, Bobby Brown leaves, in comes Johnny Gill. We don't really do that a lot with hip hop. Like, I think the only time we probably done that is the root, and they're replacing members that like are in the band. So like, I couldn't tell you if that's the first horn player from Earth, Wind and Fire. You know what I mean? Or, you know, they're replacing people who you probably wouldn't even notice like that. And I know Main Source did it with Mikey D when Large Professor left. They replaced him with Mikey D. But it's just something we really don't do in hip hop. Like, once the group breaks up, and that's just it. So I was thinking, what if we did replace people in hip hop groups? So who would we replace? I don't know. You know, EPMD. If Eric left, who would we replace Parish with? Or, you know, who would you replace? You know, in the roots with Malik B. Who would you replace Phife with if when Tribe broke up? So that's what we're gonna be chopping it up about today. I'm interested because this is a joint that I was just like, yo, I don't even know. I don't. It's so many different ways we could go, and the reason I love doing this podcast. I'm Guy. He's from Chicago. Easton's from the UK. Neltron and Mix is from New Orleans. Rel and me from Philly. So I'm excited to see who picks who for what reason. I'll set it off with this group because, in my heart of hearts, this is the group that I believe that if they drop the album right now in 2021, it could be 5 mics. It could still be dope. One thing JR schooled me too, he was like, look, bro, some groups just need to tour. Like, we don't need a new album all the time. Like, I don't need new Frankie Beverly and Maze album. You know, I'm good with just I'm good with just the old Frankie Beverly and Maze concert. Like, you don't always have to put something out. But I truly believe that if this group drops something right now, it would be crazy. And that would be Pete Rock and CL Smooth. You know what I mean? I really believe that. And I'm real big on like people being in the studio together, working with each other. I feel like Pete could just send CL 50 beats, CL pick 14, rhyme to them, and that shit would be a 5 mic classic to me. So I'm gonna set this off. I will replace CL Smooth with, and I got 2 people, because for 2 different reasons. The first, it was hard for me, and I'm interested to know how y'all did this shit stuff. For Pete, I'm like, okay, outside of CL, who just sounds amazing over Pete Rock beats? The first person I came up with was AZ, because I love what he did on Gimme and
Rather Unique.
Rather Unique. Like, I love it. You know what I mean? And AZ has rocked with Primo on some joints, and those joints are dope, but Rather Unique and Gimme are just like maybe 2 of my favorite AZ songs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? AZ has the voice, he has the smoothness, so I think it could match that with CL was there with. And I think it would have helped AZ's discography out too. I know people who swear by AZ's discography. Truth be told, outside Do or Die, like there's songs here and there, but I'm not gonna play a whole AZ album just from front to back. But again, that's just me. So that's the first person. As the second person, I had Edo G, because they had a joint out called My Own Worst Enemy. They did a little EP together, maybe about 10, 15 years ago now, but the joint was dope. A lot of people, you know, sleep on Edo G from Edo G and the Bulldogs would be a father to your child, but Edo is still rhyming, he still got joints, so that would be my pick. Mix, who do you got? Who would you replace CL Smooth?
I would replace CL Smooth with the grand verbalizer Brother J from X-Clan. I think Brother J from X-Clan would really ride well with the P-Rock beats because his concise, you know, and clarity in his flow, his diction, you know, his depth, his consciousness, his history. and then his blackness is gonna fit, better with soul than anything else. So that's why I come up with that one.
Tell me, bro, where did you pull that from? Because I was going through my iTunes and I looked at Brother J, but I didn't know where to put him. He definitely came up in my mind, and I'm looking through this list. And I just couldn't find the right place to put him. And I love that pick too, because here's the thing: I felt like Brother J would still be Brother J, similar to how Chuck D is still Chuck D. But to me, Chuck D just doesn't have the right production. But if you're right, if you put Brother J with Pete Rock, them beats are gonna pull you in, and we still getting a powerful message. But where did you pull that from?
I think I pulled it from the standpoint of we never heard him over any consistent smooth beats. Most of the X-Clan beats was, obvious samples, chopped up, and diced, a few ways, heavy scratching, hard bass lines. It was somewhat obvious, but still dope. But it was more like on a P-Funk driven tip. Right. I think we need to hear him a little bit more with some soul, maybe some jazzy vibes, maybe a different type of scratching, just a whole different avenue. And it would bring out his lyrics more, like I said, because he's so clear. He has so much to say, but no one ever gave them a really legit chance,
Don't pick. Now try. Who you got? Who you replacing CL Smooth with?
I chose Common. Common came out, Cannibal Gala came out, I guess around
like 91,
92. And P-Rock, his samples are jazzy. No ID had the jazz, and Why Not had all the jazz on Resurrection, and a few on Cannibal Gala. So I picked Common.
Dope pick. Bro, who you got?
I picked OC.
Wow.
I picked OC, and the song that came to my mind was Born to Live. And when you listen to that song, you can hear CL on that song. You
gotta use the same sample.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then I listened to a lot of the type of beats he was rapping over on both albums, particularly Jules, because he had a lot more jazzy beats on that one, and I felt like the voices fit and everything. So when I thought CL, I'm like, who can fit and not like do too much, but still kill it and be nice? And I picked OC.
I think that OC fits in perfectly, kind of like with the AZ, because then it helps with OC's discography too. You know what I mean? Like, when you get a producer like a Pete Rock or a Premier, it just helps you because you ain't never got to worry about your beats. You know what I mean? Like, most MCs always like, all right, who I'm going to rock with, who do I fit with? Like, Google and CL, I felt like it's almost like having a gig in the government. Like, you just know you good for this. Like, I ain't getting fired, I ain't getting furloughed. Like, I'm good to go. So,
like, did you hear Pete with Smoke Dizza, that whole album?
Yeah.
That they did? That was fire. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep. I'm God. Who you got up? Who you replacing CL with?
This was definitely one of the toughest ones, because I'm like, bro, you really fucked my head up with these replacing motherfuckers from these iconic groups. But I had to like go back, and I'm thinking like, man, I always appreciated CL Smooth flow. I wasn't the biggest Pete Rock and CL Smooth fan. I'm only, 35 and shit. So I got into the rap a little bit after them, but I still know of them, and I still got some of their joints. But if I had to replace them with anybody, I picked Special Ed. And the only reason I picked Special Ed was from the I Got It Made joint. Like, that man, like, even though Special Ed was before me really being interested in rap, always, when I heard I Got It Made, I always appreciated his flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for that time. And I felt like if Special Ed could have got a hold of something like some Pete Rock or something like that, like, I think that would have been decent and took him a little further than what he actually went. But I thought of Special Ed, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like I said, CL, his flow was more kind of like, I would say CL's flow was more kind of like bouncy. Not bouncy, but it's kind of like more fluid, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But like, Special Ed kind of remind me of like almost like a little Rakim-ish. You know what I'm saying? But I still think that shit would have worked. You know what I'm saying? Over his production.
All right, no doubt. JR, the R&B rap. What's going on, good brother?
Ain't nothing. What's going on, y'all? Sorry I'm late. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn today. I'm learning today.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. Easton, who you got? Who you replacing CL Smooth with, man?
So I had yours that pick as well. I picked AZ for the simple reason as well. I was trying to go around the time frames and that. And we probably would have been looking about what, like 95 times, and probably around the time. So yeah, AZ would have had his Dough or Die. And the same thing, just to give me yours and a rather unique. I think AZ on Over Pete was just, it was magic, man. AZ, his flow was godly on that, man. It just went well. So yeah, I would put them together, but I tried to have an honorable mention for each one. So as AZ was picked, I was thinking of maybe Heavy D as well to go in there. Obviously,
it's crazy you said that, bro. I don't know if you can see that, but I literally got Heavy D right there. I had Heavy D.
Yeah. So I think obviously the chemistry's there. That goes without saying. The love's there, family. So that I'm saying. I think that would have made it continue to be smooth. I think he had a similar, not necessarily a similar flow to CL, but a similar energy. Do you know what I mean? The cockiness, the humor when it was needed, the confidence. I think it would have been a good mix, man. I think it would have went on to do them both some good, man. So yeah, it would have been AZ as my first choice. Heavy D as my honorable mention.
Dope, man. Because Heav's one of the biggest men. That's crazy. Anytime Heaven and Pete got together was don't curse. Like anytime they link, you know what I mean? That's dope. JR, who you got replacing CL Smooth?
I was saying Heavy D. That's what I was gonna go with, and they family, so it worked. So it was like it would have worked. So that's what I was gonna pick. I was gonna say Hev.
Now tell me this, JR, because me and you talked about, because usually when I get a topic, I'll shoot somebody out to be like, what do y'all think about this? And him being an R&B rep, because they do this in R&B. You know what I mean? They replace people in R&B. Why do you think that is, JR? Why do you think in hip hop we don't, or for the panel, nothing long-winded, just a quick answer, but why do you think it's more commonly done in R&B that we're gonna replace the lead singer than it is in hip hop? In hip hop, the group just breaks up and that's it. Whereas in R&B, it's like, okay, Bobby's out, fuck him, bring in Johnny, or okay, whoever acting a fool, Dave acting a fool, bringing Dennis Edwards. Like, why do you think it's more commonplace in R&B than in hip hop?
It's a little easier because with R&B it's singing, so you just gotta blend them. Somebody just gotta blend. If it blends, it works, and that's what you keep. You know what I'm saying? As far as lead singers, you just gotta make sure somebody blends. If you don't blend, then it don't work. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, a lot of times when the lead singer goes, it kind of sucks because you have people that can sing, but they're not supposed to be leads. So it's really hard to find that type of thing. But for real, it's all about blending. It's a little easier because with hip hop, it's a little different. Just because somebody can rap, don't mean that they gonna fit with this certain producer or certain group or stuff like that. Like it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? So it's a little easier with far as singing because you can blend. With hip hop, you ain't blending no voice with this type. It don't work like that. So it's a little harder with hip hop than it is with R&B though.
Now tell me this: when they replace David Ruffin with Dennis Edwards, to me they sound nothing alike. How was that accepted back in the attempts?
But because Dennis Edwards was the lead of the Contours, so it works. He's a lead singer. You can't have him not a lead, because if he wasn't a lead, it wouldn't have worked. You know what I'm saying? You can't get another, say, Melvin Franklin to be that, because it just wouldn't work. So with him, he has a strong voice. He has a strong presence. David has a strong voice, a strong presence. So it worked. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it may not necessarily be about the sound. It's just, do you have the strong voice? And
you have it as long as you can be a lead. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of time, again, even though Paul was great and he was a great singer, I don't think he was a great lead vocal. So you needed somebody like a Dennis that's gonna come at you and be like, oh, let me pay attention to him, especially after David. You needed somebody like that.
And it's funny you say that because now I'm thinking, any heartbreak, I wasn't like, no, this is whack. Johnny don't sound like Bobby. It wasn't even about, I need somebody to sound like Bobby. It's just like what you were just saying. Could Johnny be a lead? And he came in and killed Boys the Men, came in and owned himself. I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right, the next group we got up, NWA. Ice Cube leads. Who do we replace with this? The first person I thought of is actually 187 from Above the Law. I don't know if folk out there are familiar with Above the Law. They were on Ruthless first. Somebody hooked me to them maybe about 4 or 5 years ago on Twitter and was like, yo, OG, you something about Above the Law. I was like, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I know a lot. He was like, yo, Drake produced their whole first album. Check it out. And I got into it. And 187 is actually on the Compton album that Dre just did too. And a lot of times, like 187, you know, Above the Law, for people who may not know, they're actually credited with coming up with the whole G-Funk sound. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people will, you know, school me to the fact that Dre wasn't the creator of it. I mean, he may have been the first one who did that really blew up and took it to the world. But like Above the Law and 187 are really credited with that. So just would have loved to see how 187 would have fit in. Of course, the easy answer is DOC, but I'm like, the nigga had no voice, so I couldn't pick that nigga. And then my second pick would have been MC8. You know what I mean? MC8.
That's mine as well.
That's my,
you know, Easton, we got the same page over here, bro. Like, yo, we have
that's my notes, man.
that's my pick, yeah.
So yeah, my pick would have been MC8, but since other people have it, I'll let y'all explain MC8 on y'all front and why you picked the mix. Who you got for your pick to replace Cube?
I got King T.
That's mine right there.
I think King T would be a natural progression because I mean he relocated from Houston to the streets of Compton. You know, they got the same perspective in a lot of ways. He has that versatility. He has the smoothness, and then he also brings the E Swift and the DJ Pooh element, who Dre was already, you know, dealing with. Because if you remember, it was all about the drumsticks.
Dope.
So I would definitely say King T.
Dope pick.
Thank you.
Don't pick. Now try. Who you got, bro?
This one was hard, bro. I picked KRS-One.
Okay.
To rhyme. He had the almost similar energy as Cube did. Like Cube was in your face with it, and KRS, you know, the teacher, he's always in your face if he ain't rapping or teaching somebody. But yeah, I picked KRS.
So this BDP KRS? BDP KRS-One?
Criminal Minded?
Yeah.
That would have been fire.
Yeah, I was about to say, and good alley-oop with that too. I am God, just based off of what KRS are we talking? Because there are many different pieces of KRS.
Yeah,
the Criminal Mind.
Exactly.
When you say KRS, my mind went Criminal Minded. KRS. That KRS over Dre production. Yeah, that would have been.
I ain't mad
that
at
would have
that.
been something.
That's fire right there. I ain't mad at that.
That would have been something. That's a dope pick. That's a dope pick. Bro, who you got, bro?
Well, I had MC8. And I looked at Cube as a writer, as a personality, and as just a presence. And those are three things that I feel like eight has, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it would have been seamless. It would have been a seamless fit to me. I just when I looked at that and I said, taking Cube out of the group, you're taking more than just a rapper out of the group. You're taking somebody that wrote a lot of stuff, and you're taking like that presence and that kind of swag out of the group. Because on Straight Outta Compton, the first thing you hear and remember is Straight Outta Compton, a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Yeah.
And yo, and he, you know what I'm saying? He had an it factor, and I feel like 8 had it as well, underrated with it, but he had it as well. Like 8 and his whole persona and swag, like how he was in Menace, that's how he is all the time. And he was like the cool, you know what I'm saying, the coolest character to me, you know what I mean? So I felt like that would have been a seamless fit. Slide 8 in there and it'd have been perfect. That's dope. God, who you got?
Man, since Mix had he went with King T, that was my first choice. But I would say Tupacalypse Now Pop. You know what I'm saying? Because he was real, he had the real political heavy, politically charged, you know what I'm saying, delivery. He was always hyped like Cube, you know what I'm saying? Like that voice, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely have to say Tupacalypse Now Pop.
That's a dope pick. Yeah. Easton, who you got, man?
All right, so with 8 being gone, my honorable mention was Ice-T. I think around that time it would have been Power, or maybe a year before Power. So if Ice-T was in the Power vein at that time, I'm going to be honest, I ain't always been the biggest Ice-T fan, but his presence is undeniable. Do you know what I mean? When he's on the mic, his vocal presence, he's there. You can't miss him. And I think it's the same sort of thing with Ice Cube. Maybe less aggression. Ice-T was vocally softer with it. No less aggressive, but just vocally softer with it, if you know what I'm saying. But I think his mix with Ren and the rest of the crew, I think that would have been a good mix, man. Ice-T in there with them. He might have been a bit too big for the crew, his presence, I mean. But I think they would have made it work. So yeah, Ice-T would have been an honorable mention.
Imagine the Colors remix by Dr. Dre. That would have been nasty.
Ooh, yeah. You talking about a 91 deep cover niggas for life, Dr. Dre.
Nasty.
Bro, that's crazy. JR, who you got replacing Q?
That's the one I couldn't pick. I couldn't pick.
There was a lot of these that was like, I was just like, yo.
Yes, you had people thinking, dog.
All right, let's do this. This one is gonna throw some folk. Brand Nubians. Now, of course, we all know Brand Nubians. You know, Puba left the group.
Ain't no replacement for Puba, man.
I got two people that's gonna. One of them's gonna throw people. But and it's funny because my brother Nick always says he came up on the second album. You know, so he enjoys Brand Nubians really without Puba. You know what I'm saying? So, whereas I'm from the all for one era, you know what I mean? So, Puba to me was just ingrained in Brand Nubians. For people out there watching, of course, you know, Sadat and Jamal went on and just kept rocking themselves. They never even tried to replace them. They just kept it going. Here's the one that's going to stretch for. And EST from 3 Times Dope. From Philly. Now, a lot of people may not know about EST. I mean, Funky Dividends, you know what I mean? Greatest Man Alive. I know he's not very popular like that in the big scheme of things, but when I think of Puba, I just always thought of smoothness. You know what I mean? As soon as he comes in. And again, I understand this is being from Philly. Like, EST was like that boy from Philly. Like, his smooth style. He had the Gumby little, you know what I mean? He just had that flow, that swag, that to me, I saw being from Philly. I saw in him that people saw being in Puba. But that's I know people, a lot of folk may not get that one. Another person who actually was all on for one is Positive K. You know, Positive K. Yo, man, don't tell me about Positive K. Are you serious? Yo, man, how we cheating and you in the UK, man? What's up, man?
They were sharing notes. Y'all sharing notes.
We sharing notes. I had Paz K because he's on the joint. For people who may not know Paz K, y'all may know Paz K from I Got a Man. I ain't talking about that Paz K. I'm talking about Step Up Front Positive K. I'm talking about First Priority Basement Flavor, like this Positive K. The Positive K that was on this album with MC Light. This is 1989 Paz K with Step Up Front and I'm Not Having It with MC Light. That Positive K. Positive K, he had a joint called Night Shift with Big Daddy Kane out that dropped in 90. And Kane is like just doing the little parts in between the like Kane is talking, but it would be like the chorus. So that Positive K, like I said, he's on all for one too. Paz K just had that smooth too. If I had to go with somebody, it would definitely be EST for me, because like I said, being from Philly, that's kind of like what he represented for me. Mix, who you got replacing Puba? I know this was a hard one, just because you can't like I'm God said, you can't replace Puba, but I think that's why they just like, fuck it. We just gonna keep going by ourselves. Like, we ain't gonna try and replace him. We ain't gonna break up, so we just gonna keep it moving. But Mix, who would you have?
I brought a whole different element. I brought Mr. Red, Black, and Green himself, Def Jeff, and his Soul Brothers.
Okay.
I think he was already on the 5% stuff. You know, he got the illest dancers to ever touch the dance floor. Plus, you know, Black to the Future, the whole Etta James connect, you know, constantly hitting you with the conscious stuff and the just, you know, true black man type stuff. I don't think there's a better fit. It's a natural progression, just a different coast. Right. But he's from the Bronx, so you know, That says it all.
Def Jeff was my guy on All in the Same Gang, and like you said, his dances. Even when he came out with All in the Same Gang, they came out the project. The dances is dancing. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as he, like, you know, his dances was on some old Prince Hakeem shit off of Coming to America, like just throwing down the flowers. Like, Jeff was coming. Here come the dances. They coming first. Yeah, that's dope. That's a dope pick. Now, Tron, who you got?
I struggle with this one, man. My first pick with Brand. Well, I'm gonna just go with Phife Dawg.
Okay.
But my first pick was Zev Love X with from Mr. Hood from KMD.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Definitely R.I.P. MF Doom. For folk out there who don't know, Zev Love X is MF Doom's original. And it's funny you say that now, Try, because I got Zev later on in another group.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's dope. That's dope. And what's the reasoning behind it? What's your science behind it?
I thought about Zev because of and I know him and Sub Rock. They talked about 5%, but it wasn't 5%. I forgot the name of.
They had a joint with the Brand Nubians called the God Squad. Like they were supposed to be. They had a little crew themselves with KMD and Brand Nubians called the God Squad. So I definitely
was saying that Muslim conscious Muslim, 5% the gods and the earths, and all the jewels, dropping jewels all over the place, God body. So that's why. Yeah.
All right, we already know who you got, Easton, but school me to why did you pick Pies K?
Yeah, I just felt like his sound fitted more. The chemistry was there. I think he's got a similar swag to Grand Prover as well. Like Nick as well, I sort of more came in on the second album, but going back and listening to it, I felt like he would have been a good fit for the outfit. But as an honourable mention, I had Del on there as well. Funky Homo Sapien. Same thing, complete different areas, but I think his sound and his style, maybe not the message in all its detail, but I think they suited what they done. I'm looking at the time frames as well, and if you're looking at the No Need for Alarm and the sound for that and where he was coming from with that, I think that would have been a good fit with them. But I think Positive K would have been a much better fit. But yeah, he was my honourable mention.
All right,
but I just say that I think they done fine not replacing him though. Do you know what I mean? I think the second album was a good album. I mean, I know a lot of people say Grand Puba's, he is what he is to Brand Nubian, and of course he is, but I don't know, going back and listening to them both, I don't feel that much was missing. I like Puba's solo stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have taken that away.
It's funny because that's where cats try to kill me with the ageism shit, but this is ageism again. This is where the age that you come in, because like you said, for you and Nick, you coming in on the second album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's Brand Nubians for y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure like maybe with JR, maybe with the Temps, if you became a Temptation fan after Dennis Edwards, that's the Temptations for y'all.
Right.
Like, what's the big deal? Whatever like that. But when you come in from the door, because and trust me, I love the second album. I mean, Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down may be my favorite Brand Nubian song. It's not Sit Down or something like that it worked. But I mean, I'm not mad at them trying not to replace them, because I think that would have worked out worse for them trying to replace them than if they just said, you know what, we just gonna do it ourselves. And for a lot of people I know, and that group was put together. Puba kind of just was already a solo artist and was trying to get deals for Sadat Jamal, and they just happened to just, have to form a group. So I'm sure for them, it wasn't even like, yo, this wasn't even like the five of us or the six of us saying, yo, let's be a group. So it's kind of different. God, who you got for this replacing Puba?
Originally, I ain't had nobody. I couldn't think of nobody, but a name just came to mind. And y'all tell me if I'm tripping. It's slightly different eras, but not that far apart. I got Lord Finesse, man.
I ain't mad at that.
I feel like Lord Finesse is almost like a natural progression of a Puba. You know what I'm saying? Just like a slightly different era. Because Puba was fly. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really have punches, but he still was cold. You know what I'm saying? And Lord Finesse was kind of like fly, but had the punches. More of a battle type rapper, almost a battle rap type style for what it was back then. But I feel like they kind of, you know what I'm saying, off the same branches of the same tree. You know what I'm saying? So that name just came to me, and I think Lord Finesse could have You know what I'm saying? I got a little finesse for that one.
All right, no doubt. It's funny I got him for another person too. Later on. Rel, who you got for who?
This one was probably the most difficult one for me. I don't think you can. He was so unique. It was hard to like, and I want to give him his flowers because he was the Tommy Hilfiger and Jabot. Like he was dressing. He was the first one for me. I was like, yeah, this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got two. One is not in the era. I kind of broke the rule, but I want to see what y'all think. The first one, I don't even know why this person came to mind, but I had Master Ace for my first one. And I just think when I look at Brand Nubian, like it was like they were just so different from each other to me. You know what I'm saying? Like Sadat, of course, his flow and his sound and voice was so different than Lord Jamar. And then you had Puba. And if you had to pick one to be a solo artist, it would have been Puba. You feel what I'm saying? So with Master Ace coming in there, I felt like it would have been kind of similar. Like he probably have stood out a little more. And but I think I was listening to like the Brand New Heavies, and they had an album with all rappers on there, and Master Ace was on there, with Puba was on there, and when I listened to it, I said, you know what, this fits. You know what I'm saying? So that was my one. The one that doesn't fit the rules really, but I had College Dropout Kanye, and I felt like he copied a lot style-wise from Puba, with how he was dressing and all that. And I feel like personality-wise, it might not have fit with the group, but I think style-wise and probably rap-wise, early at that point in Kanye's career, I think it would have fit cool, even though the era is different.
I could definitely see that. And you're right, man. We may have to do a salute show for Brand Nubians and Pooh, just because you're right. Pooh deserves his flowers. Dude is, in my opinion, at least from my era, a top 3 trendsetter just as far as fashion. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know what Hilfiger was until Pooh said it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I remember I'd watch any Pooh interview just to see what low he had on, just so I could go out and cop it. Like, to this day, 30 years later, I'm still trying to find this Alpine shirt he had on Yo MTV Raps. When him and Mary was doing What's the 411, he got this long sleeve Alpine joint on.
Yes, sir.
I'm still looking for it.
I found it, but you're not going to pay for what that person
I'm
was.
Sure. Right.
I found it. I was like, oh, hell no. Yeah, I was looking for that too.
That's the other problem. JR, who you got replacing Puba?
This one was tough, but that's who I was going to go with, Kanye, because of the style. Because you cannot, Grand Puba, you cannot replace him at all. You know what I mean? But I was thinking, and I was like, with the style, it had to be Kanye. For real. Because, I mean, College Dropout Kanye, like you said, Rel.
Yeah.
Because after that, you know. But, yeah, College Dropout Kanye could have, as far as style-wise, yeah.
Especially because of all the low. That's all Ye was wearing back then.
All he was wearing.
Right.
All right, so one of the groups who actually did replace a member, Main Source, again, they replaced him with Mikey D. For cats who don't know, Mikey D was from Queens. He actually won the, I want to say 88, 89 World Supremacy battle. Like back in the 80s, they used to have these battles, the new music seminar in New York City. I think Jeff won the DJ battle in 87, Cash won in 88. God, who won it in 90? 90 was DJ Miz with Freshco. So that was that kind of their stream like that.
Who got better DJs in Philly? Who got better DJs in Philly?
No, well, this is what I've said. I said that we have the best DJs for that era. Now, what we were able to do is we took what Grandmaster Flash and the Pioneers did, and we took it to another level. And then I think now the West Coast owns that shit, like the Q-Birds and the Invisible Scratch Pickles, and now they doing shit that was just crazy. Before it aired, to me, there's a time like nobody can even front on that. You know what I mean? Between Cash, Jeff, Tad, Miz, you know, come on, it is what it is. But they replaced him with Mikey D. They had the second album out called Fuck What You Think. It really didn't blow up. I actually liked the first single. It was called What You Need. What You Need Is the Source. But it got into a lot of hoopla. They sampled the bass line from Madonna, which just fucked up everything. But for me to replace Large Pro, I had two people. I wanted to try to keep it with an MC producer type or. So the first pick was Diamond D to replace. Forget it.
I need to show you my notes. Seriously.
Let's forget it. Are you serious? Just forget it. Everything that we have said has been the same. Like, literally. Okay. Well, I'll go with my second pick. I'm gonna go with like God said. I also had Diamond D. I had Diamond D down to replace Lawrence Professor. So that's who I had. Mix, who'd you have?
I went with Lord Finesse. I think Lord Finesse is the closest thing in hip hop that you're gonna get to a triple crown. I mean, I'm sorry, not a triple crown, a triple double. He's a walking triple double. You know, he rocked the turntables, he rocked the beats, he could battle, and he's even a hell of a comedian. A lot of people don't know that. He can play the dozens like almost anybody. So I think Finesse is a natural fit. He could pretty much adapt to anything. And he's a natural digger.
And here's the funny part about Main Source. I'm with Pro. Fuck them two DJs. What did they do? Like, cause I'm like, yo, if you rap and you made all the beats, this is the thing I never got from 80s hip hop. Why did you need two DJs? Why did MC Light need two DJs? Like, you don't need two DJs. I only assume that this is on some old me, Mix, and Neltron all grew up in the same area. You know, Neltron really don't do shit, but that's our guy. So it's like, yo, fuck it. We just gotta have two DJs. Like, cause there's absolutely no reason to have two DJs on stage. That was just always my assumption for that. Cause I was always like, what do these two dudes do? If Large Professor is making all the beats and writing all the rhymes, why do you need two DJs? But they were brothers. So I think somehow, some way, maybe they had the equipment. So I'm sure if Paul is going to their crib and my brother got to be in the group too. That's on some old back in the day when they'd be like, yo, whatever you do, you got to take your little brother with you. So, and they just became part of the group. Now, Tron, who you got replacing Large Pro?
I'm going to have to use the same guy I used I went with Zev Love again. Okay. Because I wasn't outside of Main Source. I mean, I remember, looking out the front door and certain songs, but I didn't get into their music heavy, so I picked him for his MC and producing and scratching. So I picked MF Doom again. So that's my pick right there.
All right, no doubt. Easton?
Yep. Same. You was my first choice, and then like Fire, Lord Finesse was my second choice as well. It's mad. But I literally had them down my 1 and 2. Just once again, just looking at the outfit, man, looking at the group, looking at who could fit in lyrically and talent-wise, and for that era, I thought those two would have been the best two choices there as well. I think Diamond D's, he don't really get mentioned enough. That's another one I think deserves another flowers, man. I think he's good on the beats, he's good on the mic. He's got the similar swag as well. I think that would have been a good fit, man, for me. So that was my 1 and my 2 as well. I
think the problem with Diamond D, I think not the problem, because I love Diamond, but I think one of the reasons why he may not get mentioned as much is a lot of the DJ, those producer MCs from the 90s, their rap style really didn't evolve over the years. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, even Large Professor, I love Large Pro to death, but he wasn't the most lyrical, MC on the planet. Like, he could hold it down, he could hold his, but so I just think it's the same thing that happened in the 80s, Run DMC and LL, they kind of put the Cold Cuts brothers like it was like, damn, we can't do that no more. Or when DMC said he heard Rakim, he was like, stop rhyming, so it's always that progression, and I just don't think Diamond, I mean, if you listen to Diamond rap now, he still raps the same way he rapped on, Sally Got a One-Track Mind. You know what I mean? Which again, that's no diss, but I'm just saying, because I love Diamond, but I just think that maybe that's why he's not really giving his flowers as much. You know what I'm saying? Because, to me, if you're not a real head, you may think Diamond only had one album. I know some people who think he only had one album. I'm like, Diamond just dropped an album about 1.5 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that may be why he doesn't get his flowers. And because he's not getting those huge production, as the later 90s came into play, it kind of was just like digging in the crates. If Diamond wasn't, he was on that digging in the crates level. And by the time we got to the 96 Shiny Suit era, you know, if you wasn't getting credits like Primo on a Biggie joint, on a J joint, like a lot of those producers kind of got forgot about. And again, not saying it's not right, but I think maybe that's why he doesn't get the same flowers like a Premier or a P Rock or somebody like that does. Well, who do you have replacing Large Pro?
I wish you could see this. I literally have Diamond D and Lord Finesse.
Hey, don't minds think alike, man. That's beautiful about it, man.
Cause I went producer MC, and when I thought of main source and who could replace and put you in that same vein as Extra P, I went Diamond D first, and then my Lord Finesse was my second one.
Right. No doubt. JR, who you got?
Nobody. I'm learning with this one. I done wrote down everybody that y'all said.
That's what's up.
None.
I'm God. Who you got, fam?
I ain't have a pick with this one either. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Large Pro, but I only know of main source, you know what I'm saying, from digging and going back in history, fucking with Nas, you know what I'm saying? Right. And being a part of his ascension game. So I'm not familiar enough with main source's music to be able to drop somebody in that it even fit the mold of what they did, you know what I'm saying? But Church, all in all.
No doubt. Now this one gonna be tricky. This is the one I'm really interested on. Easton, if you got the same person with this, fucking my pop must have been over in London. Something had to happen that we had joined at the hip or something like that. Leaders of the new school. Who do you replace Busta Rhymes with?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I want to know what you got then, God, because this was not easy for me. Like, this is probably my next to last pick.
Yeah, this is good.
If Easton, I'm gonna just say it.
Oh, you want me to go?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it. And I'm sure people gonna be like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I'm gonna go with Chip Fu from the Fooshnick.
My God!
Look, please,
are you serious? I
promise you.
That's funny as hell.
Not going with these.
Oh wow!
That is crazy.
Yo,
seriously, man.
Y'all brothers.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, this is really some psychic shit going on right here. Like literally, the same list. All right. Chip Fu, I mean, I was racking my brain because I'm like, damn, who got the excitement like Busta got? And I'm like, and I'm thinking from that era, the only person who I was even close to was maybe Ludacris. But Luda's not from that era, because you know Luda's videos would be wild. Luda would be walking around with a big head on, and I'm like, that was that Busta energy. But I was like, yo, Chip Fu just to me would always steal the show in the Fooshnickers. You know what I mean? Like it was like, I want to hear what these other two niggas gotta say. Where Chip at? So, and that's kind of how it was with Busta. No disrespect to Charlie, Dinko, Milo, anybody else, but whenever Leaders came on, it was like, that's cool, but when's Busta's on? You know what I mean? So I just thought of another group, and it was the Fooshnickers, and it was like, y'all the two niggas in the Chinese takeout box, but where's Chip? So Easton, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Definitely, man.
Mix, who you got, good brother?
I got Pharoah Monch.
Okay. I
got Pharoah Monch because I think Pharoah Monch, he could bring that same energy, that intensity. He's got all the inflections. He's got, the lyrical depth. Pretty much everything it takes. He's like the consummate MC. He brings like an Al Jarreau element to hip hop.
Oh wow!
Talk a little bit about the Al Jarreau. What do you mean he brings the Al Jarreau?
The fact that, like, first of all, he has asthma, like really bad. So to be asthmatic and have breath control, that's really oxymoronic. I mean, the fact that he's asthmatic and still can change pitches, change tempos, change speeds, still be lyrical, still be clear, still be concise, and just go all over the place. And there's no subject, that's over his head. And still have that energy. Like, he could bring it up tempo, whatever, really whatever it takes. That's
live as well. You can do that live as well.
Oh, yeah, he can perform. He can really perform.
That's dope. Now, Tron, who you got?
I picked Tretch.
Okay.
Early Tretch.
Yoke the Joker Tretch.
like the tongue twisting and just that energy. He didn't have the exact same energy as Busta, but because Busta is unique. But yeah, I picked Tresh for that one.
Easton, I don't watch it.
I just want to say as well, I always give Chip Fu his props. If you go through over my Twitter feeds and all that, I'm always bigging up Chip Fu, because I think when someone's two things, when they're in a group where the rest of the members don't stand out or ain't that good, you can be overlooked as well sometimes, like Tretch. Obviously he gets his props, but sometimes people cannot think about Chip Fu because they don't think about Fu-Schnickers. But Chip Fu, to do what he does, even to bring in all the characters and the cartoon and all that, you have to be so skillful to do all of that. And Chip Fu, he's underrated, man. He's crazy talented to do what he does. And just like Busta Rhymes, man, he's animated, he's entertaining, he's skillful, he stands out. You're excited. You can't wait to hear his verse. Like you said, you listen to the other songs and you just want to hear Chip Fu's verse. So yeah, he initially came to mind, like almost immediately. I thought of Chip Fu. And my honorable mention was Redman, early Redman. Not that he's not excitable now, because he is. In the early days, man, Redman was more amped up. He's even more excited. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think he would have been a good fit for that as well. But yeah, so Chip Fu and Redman as an honorable mention, man. I think they would have both went in. It would have been a good mix, man.
Rel? You know what?
Yeah,
next go round, next go round, I'm gonna go around the other way. So
let me show you.
No, don't show us everything. I don't want to see nobody else.
Oh, my fault. Chip Fu and Redman. Those are my two. I Chip Fu was first, and then Redman was my second person, my wild card. When I thought about it, like Chip Fu came to my mind, like because he kind of stood out from his group, like how Busta stood out from his group. With the energy, he had the energy, the dread, the locks, that was the first. And then Redman, I feel like the same way. Like, I feel like the same thing that happened with them with Busta would have happened if Redman was in a group, because we would have all focused on Redman, and he'd have wound up leaving him. You know what I said. So that's where the same would have happened if Redman was in that group. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Early Redman, time for some action. Redman, headbanger, Redman.
Yeah.
He would kill with that. Yeah. But eventually we'd have been like, I don't want to hear these other two niggas. I want to hear Redman. And you know what I'm saying?
That's real shit, though.
JR, who you got?
Mine was Redman, because I was like, yo, just like he said, if Redman would have been in there, we wouldn't have cared about anybody else. So it was him. And then Headbanger, that just right then and there, I was like, yeah, this one, I was like, I hope nobody would have got. I was strong on this one and y'all took it. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I had Redman.
Now I want to know, God, who'd you have? Because you said this one was easy. This was my actual last pick of the night. Like, just pick this like an hour before the show type thing. So who'd you have?
Well, I got two choices for this one. My first obvious choice was ODB, but not that ODB, A-Son Unique. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Prior to Wu-Tang, well, not Wu-Tang, but prior to Return to the 36 Chambers, A-Son Unique. Because I feel like Dirty kind of got away from being lyrical as he went on. He was more lyrical in the beginning. So I feel like that was a better version of Dirty to be able to go against Busta at that point in time. Because neither one of them was as animated as they became at that particular point in time in their careers. Busta wasn't as animated, though he still was. And that A-Son Unique 36 Chambers era, you know what I'm saying, ODB, he was becoming that. He was growing into that, but he wasn't all the way over the top with it yet. So my first obvious choice was A-Son Unique, you know what I'm saying, ODB. My second choice was Early Meth to Cal, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, we're right there.
Okay, I can see that too.
Okay, man.
I could definitely see that. All right, next up, we got one of my favorite groups. And it's funny because they're one of my favorite groups, and I really only love one of their albums, Slum Village, with Fantastic Volume 2. Who do you replace Dilla with? This is another example of a group who replaced a member. They replaced him with Elzhi. You know what I mean? Which, to me, wasn't a good pick. Just because Elzhi's so fucking lyrical, it was almost like they created what we just was talking about, like where you don't even want to hear the other two. Whereas to me, Dilla and them kind of all was the same. So they all kind of meshed together for me. But once they put Elzhi in there, it kind of was just like, this nigga's just off to the races, and these other two dudes lagging behind almost. So the same way y'all was just saying, if Red was in the group, you wouldn't even care about the other two. I felt like that's what putting Elzhi in Slum Village was like. That it was like, this dude is so much better than these other two. That whereas the original Slum Village just kind of, they all meshed to me. And my pick was Black Milk, another producer, MC out of Detroit. Easton, don't tell me.
You know what? He was my honorable mention. Okay.
Because now you even though the honorable mention is we still here.
Oh God!
We have to go on a game show together. We have to be on Wheel of Fortune or something. Jeopardy or something together. Win some money with this shit. This act that we got going on right now. We gotta take this on the road. So I got Black Milk Mix. Who you got for your replacement of J Dilla?
I got Havoc from Mobb Deep.
Ooh. Wow.
I think Havoc from
Never saw that one coming.
I didn't see that one coming at all.
He would bring. I think he would bring the doom and gloom of Queensbridge to marry the doom and gloom of Detroit. But he would bring a harder element and maybe more of a gangster element. On the same time of being able to rhyme and produce just as well. And a different style from Dilla, a totally different style.
Yeah, that's a good pick because a couple more of these joints is a total different flip from what you would know the group for. You know what I mean? So definitely a dope pick. Now, Tron, who you got, bro?
I picked A+ from the Hieroglyphics.
Okay.
Souls of Mischief. They got that Tribe called Quest Far Side. And by Tan and T3, they were, like you said, they weren't serious. They weren't the best lyrical. But I mean, A+ is lyrical, but that's who I picked. I think that would have been a cool pick, cool fit.
That's dope. Easton, who you got, bro?
So I had Q-Tip as my number one pick.
Damn, I didn't forget. I don't want to do this.
I think
that's my bad. I forgot I was supposed to be going the other way. I got something now. I'm going the other way from here on out. I'm gonna start at the bottom and go back up. I don't even know why I didn't think of Q-Tip. I don't know why.
I thought everybody was gonna have Q-Tip. Honestly,
I don't even know how that didn't even pop in my head.
Yeah.
This is when you be thinking about something too long. This is what happens when you look at something too long.
Yeah.
The most obvious just goes right over your head. I'm sorry, Easton. Keep going with Tip.
No, and I feel that they've done some work together before, and I think his sound will suit them. Like Neltron said, they got that whole tribey vibe as well. And we know from Q-Tips, from his Tribe production, man, he can suit their sound as well. And I think this would have been around the amplified time, wouldn't it? So I think around that whole energy time, I think their sounds would have meshed. I think that would have been a good fit. I think he would have fit right in there.
All right, no doubt. Rao, who you got?
This was tough. I got No ID.
Okay. No ID. Okay. I ain't bad at that.
I got No ID. I'm thinking, replacing Dilla. I just like the sound, and he will rap, but that's not. You feel what I'm saying? Like how Dilla.
Yeah, I mean, I actually forgot for a minute he had the solo album out because he's known so much as a producer. I forgot he had the solo joint out.
Right, and he will rap, but he's more so of a producer like Dilla. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it would have been a perfect fit, and nobody like with Elzhi outshining the other two on the mic. That wouldn't have happened. It would have kind of just been a seamless fit, and you would have still got crazy production and a good product. So I went with No ID.
That's a dope
good shot.
Gerald, who you got, bro?
Mine was Q-Tip. This was the easiest one for me because it was just like they're all in the same reign with each other. Like Easton said, they did songs with each other, so it would have worked. So Q-Tip, that was the easy one for me.
All right, what about you, Dawg?
Hey, I gotta dap up real quick because that might have been the best choice, bro, because I never thought of No ID, but that might make way more sense than Tip, and I actually picked Q-Tip. Showing the crib some love, and the fact that it just make a whole lot of sense, and I didn't even think of that. Like that was a dope ass pick, but I originally picked Q-Tip.
Yeah, that's dope. Next up, we got the Fugees. Who's replacing Lauryn Hill? We just did a salute show. Just did the salute show to jurors, and I came up with, and this is similar to kind of like what Mix just said with Habit. I would go with Rod Digger. You know what I mean? Totally different left would have brought them. I mean, this is not no Fugees, Haitian, Bob Marley party no more. This is like, it would bring a whole nother aspect to it, but I think Rod Digger would have just fit in perfect. You know what I mean? When I think of MC, if it ain't Lauryn from this era, then it's always Rod Digger. So it just kind of flipped right in. But God, what you just said with Bahamadia, that's a dope pick too that I didn't think about. So break down why you scooped up Bahamadia.
I just always love the flow, like her cadence. You know what I'm saying? Like beyond the content, just her flow and her cadence and her confidence in a realm ruled by, you know what I'm saying, men. Like she was a beast. Like, you know what I'm saying, Bahamadia was a beast. And you know what I'm saying, Lauryn, of course she ain't no slouch on the mic, but I just feel like that would have been a seamless, not saying it should have been that, but that just would have been a seamless, like, okay, we ain't got Lauryn, let me slide her in there. You know what I'm saying? Bahamadia is a monster, man. It still is.
And I ain't mad at that. I mean, True Honey Buns, still bangs. You know, that whole first album, Collage, you know what I mean? Still bangs. Three the Hard Way, just all them joints.
Her and like Wyclef would have been crazy.
Yeah.
At that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To me, that's much better pick than Digger. JR, who you got?
I said Rod Digger. That was that one. It was like what she did on Cowboys too. So it was just like, okay, you could throw her in there. That would because you can't replace Lauryn at all because she's an artist for real. So it's just like Rod would just be the person you looking at. She just spitting, and you will pay attention to her as far as spitting because I mean you got Prize and Wyclef, so you're gonna pay attention to Rod. Just saying. So that's why I picked Rod.
Hell, you pay attention to Rod with the Outsiders. That was a whole bunch.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're definitely gonna pay attention with Wyclef. Right. So, Rod, who you got, bro?
Okay. So this was difficult because I took into consideration Lauryn singing too, and so I really struggled, but I kind of wanted to stay in the same lane as the Fugees, so I picked Ladybug from the Digger.
Good one.
I feel that would have been. I always liked her, man. Always liked her, man. I liked them, but I always liked her, and I felt like she would have fit perfect with what they were doing, and she can rap, she can kind of harmonize. She would have fit perfect like that. I couldn't think of nobody else that would have fit better than her. So
now, Charlie, you was about to say something?
I was about to ask Rel, did you hear her solo album back in 2004? She did.
I did not. It was good.
Yeah. To me, it was more R&B singing. I'm gonna check it out then.
I gotta check that out then. I didn't even know that she's one who I always wanted to make a solo album, and I'm kind of salty she didn't. So I had no idea. Was she still going by Ladybug Mecca?
Yes, this lady. I forgot I got it in the house, but yeah, Ladybug Mecca did an album back in 2004. I want to say.
I'm definitely about to check that out.
I gotta check.
There's a bug on the album cover, a ladybug on the album cover. So.
All right, Easton, who you got?
I had Rod Digger at first, but I moved there to my honourable mention to play devil's advocate. The reason why I didn't have her as my main choice is because I think she's too lyrical, and I think she'd make the others obsolete almost. It would just become Rod Digger's show. So I'm trying to
around and beat them other two niggas up. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, right there, shot up the whole damn studio. So let's go with a safer pick. Let's go with a safer.
Exactly. Yeah. So and this isn't taking anything away from her lyrical ability, but I chose MC Light. Reason being again is because around the time frame, I mean, Light was giving us what Bad As I Wanna Be and things like that around 97, and I think she was more in her commercial bag around that time, around 97. I think Light would have been a good mix because Light's lyrically a beast anyway, but she's got a very commanding voice. You know what I'm saying? I think when Light's on the mic, she demands you to listen to her, man. And I think that mixed in with Wyclef and even Pras doing this thing with the right production as well, I think that could have been a good fix. Don't know how it would have turned out, but I saw light there, so I thought I'd see how that works. So yeah, MC Light.
All right, now Tron, who you got?
I had the same as God. I had Bahamadia. Like you said, she can still flow. She still got it. Her collage album, then the second album she came in, which I think was an EP, and she did some drum and bass, and she really rhymed really fast. So she just changed up her style on that album too. So I had Bahamadia, and yeah, that's my pick.
All right, Mix, who you got?
I'm gonna go with my former Crown Heights Dean Street neighbor, Miss Jean Grey.
Hey,
Because she's pretty unpredictable. I think she would take the Fuji thing, you know, on sort of a different journey. It would give it a whole different element, you know, pretty abstract. You wouldn't know where she's coming from, but it would still be really interesting. And I think her and Wyclef could feed off each other.
All right, no doubt. That's a dope pick. All right, we got Gangstar.
This one was easy for me too.
I'm glad because none of this shit was so I'm now even more excited to hear what you gotta say. I mean, this was hard for me, and I just went with Nas. I went with Nas. Just
I ain't mad at that.
You know, like, you know, if there ever has been a knock on Nas, it's been his selection of beats. Well, you won't have to worry about that with Premier. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, to me, especially if you're talking about 95 Nas, if you're talking about 94, 97, 98 Nas, you're talking about 4 back-to-back, probably classic albums. You know what I mean? Like, just back-to-back. If you imagine 94, 95, and 96 Nas over 94, 95, and 96 Premier production, you just talking about 94 just straight, just you ain't even gotta hear it. Just this is one of the few times, boys and girls, that I would be like, you ain't even gotta hear an album and just give it 5 mics. You ain't even gotta hear it. You just already know that this is gonna be 5 mics. So I went with Nas. Guy, who'd you pick that was easy? I want to know this.
The original God MC, Rakim Allah. You know what I'm saying? Similar cadence to you know what I'm saying? Lean ass flow. And even at that time, mid-90s, Rakim was still nice. You know what I'm saying? Rakim's still nice to this day. I think that's one of the dudes that'll never lose a step because he's too in tune with the craft and the culture. But to me, that was like Busta and ODB. Like that's a natural, you know what I'm saying, progression right there. So Rakim.
That's a very good.
That's
I didn't think about.
Yes.
I wasn't even thinking about Rakim. And then again, kind of like what I was saying with AZ and P Rock, I feel like Premier gave Rakim his best moments. You know, after the breakup with Eric, it's been a long time. New York, you out there. When I be on the mic, so
When I be on the
and that
mic.
would have kept Rakim's legacy living on. You know what I mean? Because the same way with, like I just said with Nas, if you talking about a 94, 96, if we even did every other year, 94, 96, 98, 3 Rakim and Premier joints, 5 3 5 mic classes in a row too. So very dope pick. Very dope pick. JR, who'd you have?
Nobody.
I feel you. I ain't mad at that. Bro, who'd you have?
Okay, so I tried to stick to. You think Guru? He has that monotone voice, and he's one of them guys that lyrical, and then it's like some people. Like the way he raps, some people don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like sometimes off beat, on beat. But of course, we love Gangstar and we love Guru. So I went with AG from Showbiz and AG. And the reason why is the monotone voice, the kind of choppy flow. And then if you listen to Next Level, the DJ Premier remix. I mean, that's a hip hop classic. So you imagine
all about the original one. I heard the original one the other day, and I was like, "The fuck is this?" I was like, "Oh shit!" Right, I forgot. This ain't it.
And the original one was fire, but
I love the original.
Yeah, the original one was fire, but after you heard that, it was like
you hear that Primo beat with them. That man, he would have fit. He'd have fit right in with Primo Gangstar to me. AG.
Funny thing you said, I thought you was about to go. I'll wait till everybody else goes because I don't want to take nobody else shine. Easton, who you got?
So Nas would have been my pick as well. So I'll go with my honorable mention. Keeping it Gangstar Foundation. I
apologize, Easton. Have we had the fucking same shit for everything?
I'm starting to feel sorry though. I think our last one, it was an honorable mention, but yeah, I had Nas down. Seriously, I'll show you my notes, man.
No, I had Nas down. I mean, this is just crazy. So who's your backup?
Jerry the Damager. That's Jerry the Damager. And obviously, their first two albums, you know what I mean? Sunrises and Aftermath. I think that would have. No disrespect to Jerry, I think he's a top tier MC with his subject matter. It's not always easy to have decent subject matter and still be captivated. And I think Jerry's good, but I do think his best work was with Primo. So I think if we got more of his first two albums, I mean, like you said a few times today as well, I think it would have helped his legacy a bit more as well. So I think that would have been a good fit. And obviously it's Gangstar Foundation as well. We're used to it, man. So I think it would have worked well.
All right. Neutron, who you got?
I picked Black Thought, like early Black Thought, like Do You Want More Black Thought.
Okay.
Over Premier Beats. I would have liked to hear that. I'm surprised they never worked. Have they ever worked together?
I don't think
Premier
so.
and Black Thought?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think they have.
Think so. That's Pete Rock. That's Pete Rock that Black Thought was on Soul Survivor and the Pete remix to Reflection Eternal. Not Reflection Eternal. I'm sorry, Black Star joint. Yeah.
He's on the Prime Deluxe.
On the and that beat is crazy with him and then Doom on it. That joint is crazy.
Oh wow, I never heard that.
But that's the only time they work together. Go listen to that now, Tron. That maybe
what's the name of that?
It's on the deluxe version, and I was on. Hold on,
Prime, right?
I'll figure it out. It's on the Prime joint. Mix, who you got?
I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm gonna go with Jersey's most unsung, Chill Rob G.
Okay.
I think Chill Rob G could. I think he could ride Premier's beats like really well. I think, like he's very clear. His diction is really good. He's interesting. He's different. He brings like a truly unique element to like a Premier track. And then he never got the shine he deserved, like even to this day, on any level. Other than the whole controversy with, I got the power, the snap cut. Other than that, but I think that would bring a whole new life to him, and the difference for Premier.
That's dope. Now, try the name of the joint is called Highs and Lows.
Highs and
Lows by Prime. And Rel, where I thought you were about to go, I thought you were gonna say Genius. I thought you were gonna say Jizza when you were saying the same monotone flow. Because when you was like monotone flow, I was like, yo, Jizza, that would have been
crazy. I didn't think about that.
That's a good pull. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. With Jizza and Premier. And again, the same thing. It would have been helped Jizza's legacy too. Right. You know what I mean? Like that would have been crazy. All right, the Roots. Here's the crazy part about the Roots. And again, this goes back to ageism. I'm from Philly. I knew about Square Roots before they had a record deal, being down South Street. So to me, Malik is an integral part of the group. I know a lot of people who are Roots fans who came up maybe after Phrenology. So they don't know anything about Malik B. Like the Roots for them is only just Black Thought, whatever on. But for a fan, like to me, if you're a true Roots fan, then you know how much Malik B played a part in Do You Want More, Philadelphia, and Things Fall Apart, which I think are the Roots, three dopest albums. To me, they're very similar to Tribe, at least with my upbringing. When Tribe first came out, People's Instinctives, I was like, it's cool. When Do You Want More came out, I was like, it's cool. When Philadelphia came out, I was like, now this shit is dope. Tribe dropped Low End Theory, I was like, now this shit is dope. How y'all gonna top this? And Tribe came with Midnight. The Roots came with Things Fall Apart. And then similar to both groups, everything they put out after that, I've kind of been like, there's some songs here and there. I actually have a mixtape called Those Other Albums because there are good songs on those other albums, but I'm not gonna put in a whole fucking ride out from Philadelphia to Atlanta. Listen to Phrenology. I'm gonna kill myself by the time we get to Delaware. So for me to replace Malik B, and this is gonna be a wild part, real people. I mean, this is like for the real Roots fans out there. It was a dude that they had named Porn, who after Malik left the group, what really started to happen, and again, this is not a knock on Black Thought. I don't feel like that shit on my timeline this week. But what I realized is in most cases, like for instance, Brand Nubians, Puba left, Lord Jamar and Sadat held it down. When Malik left, I thought, okay, Thought is just gonna hold this shit down. But when you start getting into a lot of Roots albums, almost every song is featuring like 3 other MCs. It's like the Roots featuring Dice Raw, Porn, Truck North. Next song, featuring. Everything is a feature. And I'm like, yo, why ain't Thought just holding this shit down though? So one of the people who was always being featured was this guy from Philly named Porn. He's on Game Theory. He's on Rise and Down. My favorite joint that he's on with Thought is this joint called I Will Not Apologize. Which is dope. So for people out there who don't know about Porn, just put in I Will Not Apologize or put in the Roots and Porn. But I thought he would have been the dopest pick. Here's something a lot of people don't know. They was actually PD Crack was going to be a part of the Roots. You know what I mean?
Wow.
When he first got on before his state property, PD was going to be part of the Roots. PD is, again, if you listen to some of the Mother Roots album, he's on a couple of joints on there.
I think he's on How I Got Over album.
Yeah, I think he's on How he's on a. Again, them albums mixed together. I can't literally Phrenology, Then You Shoot Your Cousin, Undone, all that shit just kind of is like a gumbo of nothing I listen to. But he's in there somewhere. But definitely, PD was supposed to be part of the group. So my joint is Porn. I'm dying to know what everybody else got. God, what you got for who's replacing Malik B?
My pick, I got Common, but the Common Sense version of Common. That's
thank you for making that. Thank you for adding this.
That's selfish. You know what I'm saying? That's just a selfish pick. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Common had that kind of bouncy, playful flow back then. You know what I'm saying? Like early '90s type shit. And I just would have loved to hear that version of Common. You know what I'm saying? Alongside Black Thought. Like honorable mention, Dice Raw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dice.
Yeah, Dice was nice.
JR, who you got, brother?
I'm not the biggest Roots fan, so I don't know who would fit in with them. I'm not, so I couldn't pick none for this.
I actually want to do a panel. I want to get a bunch of Roots fans together because they've been around so long. They're different eras of Roots fans, so it's shocking to me when people are like, oh, I never heard Philadelphia Things Fall Apart. I'm like, well, what the fuck have you heard then? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But keeping in mind, they may have 9 albums out. You know what I mean? I'm just not one of those people who's just like, somebody was like, yo, the Roots are the greatest group ever killed. And I'm like, why? They're like, cuz they have out 13 albums. And I'm like, that don't mean shit to me. I mean, KRS-One may have out 21 albums. All them shits ain't good. Just because you put out an album don't mean you the dopest group ever. Like, so, but just to figure out what Roots fans, like what fans of like Phrenology and How I Got Over and all those, like whatever, neither here nor there. Well, who you got for replacing Malik?
I got Bahamadia. If I get an album full of Push Up Your Lighters, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And I feel like she can she would have helped Thought carry those albums lyrically, conceptually, because sometimes Thought just be rapping sometimes, and I feel like she could have. I mean, if she's from Philly, it would have been an easy move, and I feel like she could have helped him and helped the group and carry, because Malik B was underrated as far as what he brought to the table, what he brought to the group, and I feel like it was a lot missing when he left. You know what I mean? For the real Roots fans that really been listening to him from the beginning, you can tell, you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? I think she would have been able to bring sort of that feel back to the Roots if she was a part of the group. So I went with Bahamadia.
Hey, Rio got them joints, bro. You got them joints, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
The wild part is, I always tell people, like, Malik leaving the Roots to me is the equivalent of Phife leaving Tribe. Like, like he was that part, in my opinion. I mean, 100% done deal with Things Fall Apart. Like, my favorite Roots song is No Great Pretender off Philadelphia, which is a Malik solo.
That's his joint.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So when people are like, yo, Kel, what's your favorite Roots song? I'm like, No Great Pretender. I'm like, damn, Thought ain't even on my favorite Roots song of all time. And the correlation between Tribe and Lauryn also is Malik and Phife, because on People's Instinctives, I'm like, why is Phife even here? Like, what does this nigga do? And then you hear Lauryn, and it's like, butter. You like, oh shit. Same thing with Malik on Proceed. Like, I can make a nerd say he's superb. I'm like, yo, nigga, why are you here? Like, and then you fast forward to Philadelphia, and it's like, yo, sections and clones and Great Pretender, and it's just like, yo, this dude just blacking the fuck out. You know what I mean? So, definitely. Easton, who you got, brother?
Either of the Black Star members, I'd say probably Mos Def I'd put in there, and I had Talib Kweli as my honourable mention, but I'd probably go with Mos Def first. I think their sounds correlate. I think they'd bring the best out of each other. They're both top tier MCs. I would love a Black Thought and a Mos Def collab. So yeah, I'd put them two. A whole project. I'd put them two in there.
I was gonna say, bro, if you had porn too, it's over. Just fuck it. You didn't. Porsche lost her job. Like, how Porsche gonna lose her job the day she didn't at work? But nigga, you about to if you pick porn, like, all right. Now, try who you got, bro?
I picked Jeru the Damager to replace Malik B. Dope MC, credible pen. So that was my pick.
Dope. And Mix, who you got?
I got the Scottie Pippen of hip hop, Prince Poetry, from the group Organized Confusion.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Super slept on, truly unsung, underrated. You know, similes, metaphors, punchlines, wit, wisdom, storytelling. Just a very overlooked brother. It's hard to be in the same group with Pharoah Monch. To be able to be side by side with him and still hold your own, that speaks volumes.
I don't know if you ever seen the app that we had him on, but I'll send you a link to that. Very dope interview.
No, I didn't. I definitely need to see that.
Very dope interview. You know me, I'm a big Poe fan, so we talking about Prince Paul. Not Prince Paul, excuse me. Paul C. I'm sorry, my brain blacked out for that. Paul C. Just everything, just very dope interview. But I'll send you a link to it. This is the one that was rough for me. Shit, all these were rough for me. Tribe. Who do you replace Phife with? Now, to me, my easy answer was Busta, because Busta has been on record saying a million times, I wanted to be part of Tribe Called Quest, I wanted to be part of Native Tongues, everything like that. But the one I kind of went with was Zev Love X. You know what I'm saying? That name again from the whole God Squad, just from that whole crew. I'm just thinking of Zev Love X. I'm thinking of like Peach Fuzz, Zev Love X, Gas Face, like. I just felt like that would have been a good click. I really don't know. This is like one of those ones that it's a question mark next to. Like, I couldn't, for some reason, just find a good fit for this one. God, who'd you have for Tribe replacing Phife?
This one wasn't so easy because this one of them groups to where you can't really replace, nobody out this group. So I definitely had to scratch my head on this one for a minute and really think. And what I came up with was Mighty Most, man. I had Most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you. JR, who'd you have?
I had Busta out of anybody because, like you said, you can't replace Phife. You know what I mean? So I went with Busta because, him and Tip go back and forth with each other, so it works. You know what I mean?
And that's why I would say, like, even the mixtape they did, the Abstract and the Dragon, like, they just, anytime that Busta and Tip are on a song together, it's a dope song, whether from the Ill Vibe, from the Coming album, all the way up to the Abstract meets the Dragon mixtape, so that's why I had Rel. What you got?
This was the most difficult out of all of them for me. Like, I didn't even want to feel like replacing Phife. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, man, I don't. And so I just kind of threw some names against the wall, and I came up with three for three totally different reasons. One was Mos Def. The other one was unpopular choice, but it was Consequence. Yeah, and
I thought about
and I think Consequence. The reason I say it's unpopular because we first really started hearing them on an album that's like very, very talked about as far as people hate it and some people love it. Is was it Beats, Rhymes, and Life? Right. I feel like he fit in fine.
He did.
He fit in fine, and being the sidekick, not to diminish Phife, but kind of being the sidekick to Q-Tip, I think he would have fit that. And my third one was a wild card, and I said Havoc. And I just feel like, Havoc can rap. He's not known he's kind of underrated as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Because P was so crazy with it. But you know, Q-Tip, Havoc. We heard Q-Tip on Mobb Deep's album. I just feel like, you know, they got that would have been a good chemistry for them. So those are my three.
Let me say this about Consequence. Number one, before anybody, and because somebody, trust me, somebody's watching, like, Sidekick, Phife was right there next to Tip. Here's the thing with the Sidekick thing, because I totally see it too. Tip literally may have been featured on literally over 50 to 60 other people's songs. Phife, to my recollection from being in Tribe, that nigga was on La Smooth. That nigga was on one song. You know what I mean? And again, God bless the dead. JR hit me the day Phife passed away. This is when I talk facts, I'm not talking stuff to diss people. This isn't dissing nobody, but it's a fact. Like, you know what I mean? Phife was not in demand as Tip was. I just did a mixtape called Verses from the Abstract where I got like 25 songs that Tip was featured on. You know what I mean? I can't do that for Phife. You know, so I just wanted to clear up that sidekick thing. We're not saying Phife is a sidekick, but to me, it's not a situation where you could be like, oh, Phife was featured on X, Y. A lot of people don't realize that Tip was literally like in demand. Like this nigga is on everywhere from Delight, from Groove is in the Heart, to over here on Mobb Deep, to over here with, you know, Tribe, on the Roots, Philadelphia. Like Tip was literally in demand, not only as a producer, but as a guest MC. The other thing about Quince is I think Consequence got a lot better. I think Consequence doesn't get a lot of props for becoming an even better MC. Because I think once you get to like the good, the bad, and ugly Kanye Consequence, Quince is killing. Like once you start getting Quince to when he was writing for Kanye and running with Kanye, that nigga's nice. I think the Beats Rhymes of Life, it was just a situation of, I give the example of if you go out to dinner and you ask for a Sprite and the waiter bring you water. There's nothing wrong with the water. You just had you like, yo, this ain't what I ordered. So when you go to a Tribe Called Quest album, this wasn't no Twitter. We ain't know who Consequence was. And you hit play and you just hear somebody rapping on 7 out the 14 songs. You're like, yo, who is this? Like, yo, and in my belief, no one's ever said this, but I believe Tribe had already broken up after midnight. You know what I mean? This is like when your parents are like, we don't fuck with each other. And you like, oh, my mom and dad got divorced when, you know, I graduated college. Like, nigga, your parents ain't fuck with each other since you was in 8th grade. They just stayed together. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. They just, please don't think your dad and your mom just broke up last year when you graduated. Like, no, like, I think they were just trying to hold it together. Phife moved to Atlanta, and I think Tip was like, oh, word, you bouncing? Fuck it. I get my little cousin Quince in here, and we won't miss a beat. Because think about it, the OG version of Stressed Out, Phife ain't even on it.
Phife ain't on it, yeah. Wow.
It's Tip and Consequence. Now this is the second single. Like, yo, how you not gonna be on the second single? Then when they remixed it, then Phife got on it. So in my belief, that was Tip's idea. Like, word, you bounce? Bet. Good money. I ain't worried. I got Dilla over here. We got the Uma. I'm gonna bring in my young boy Quince, and we gonna keep this party going forward. So
and you can't underestimate the pressure of you just coming out and I'm about to be on this album with this legendary group and I'm on all these songs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, you know, that's pressure. You gotta show up.
And I never want to be the one to really diss Quince like that, because like you said, it's just like, who is this nigga? You know what I mean? That's all. Yeah. Like if you put on a Gangstar album and you started hearing some nigga you never heard of on every other song, you'd be like, yo, what's good? Like, and that's to me what Quince was for that. But Easton, who you got replacing Phife?
Yeah, Redman was my first choice. Busta was my first choice. Then aside from Busta, I was going with Rel as well. It was Consequence, only because I think he held it down on the Beats Rhymes and Life. I think that gets unnecessary stick, as we've all mentioned. I think it's a quality album, man. When you go back to it and listen to it now, I think it's aged well. I think it sounds good, the production's good. It's just a victim of coming after two classics like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think Consequence held it down, man. To be on over 50% of the album, I don't think he took anything away from it. Your Sprite and water analogy was perfect. I think that was the situation, man. So I would have just made that official and run with Consequence and said, look, this is Tribe now, and just make that official. So yeah, Consequence would have been second choice.
think the hard part of that album, and I wrote this article breaking down all the things that I think is wrong with Beach Rhymes' life. It was just too much shit was going on. It was too much movement. You know what I mean?
It was different directions, yeah.
Phife
I don't like the way it was sequenced. I don't like the way it was
the sequencing. It's just it to me. It was a house falling apart. You know what I mean? From everything from Dilla. Dilla was a whole new sound from Beach Rhymes. And I wrote this in the article. Imagine if you get Beach Rhymes in life with the Crooklyn beat, with the Give Away the Goods beat. All those beats that Tip started giving away. Imagine if the Get Down Craig Mack remix was on Beach Rhymes. Oh my God. Like, we're talking about Beach Rhymes in life in a whole nother light. But now we gotta look at it. Now Tip is giving away beats. I think Tip just felt like, yo, this produced by a Tribe Called Quest, man. Produced by a Tribe Called Quest. I think if we would have been seeing produced by Q-Tip from People's Instinctives on, we'd be naming Tip's name more as one of the GOAT producers. But I know for me, it was like, oh, produced by Tribe. Oh, Ali did all those beats. You know what I mean? Just because that's what the DJ did. You know what I mean? So you hear in the documentary, it was always Tip trying to bring Phife to the studio. And I think by Beach Rhymes in life, Tip was probably like, fuck it. It's been a one-man band damn near all this time. Fuck it. Let's just make it official type thing. You move to Atlanta, cool. I'm going to do all this. Tip is turning Muslim. So he's dealing with his own stuff over here. You know, so I just looked like it was an album without direction. You know, and if y'all are used to linking up, if all of us are a group and we link up every day to write rhymes together, and then Mix moved to Oakland, and Neltron moved to New Orleans, now that vibe is different. We don't have that same vibe, and I believe in that. So, Neltron, who you got for replacing Phife?
I picked No Need for Alarm, Dell from Get Home Sapien.
Okay.
And because Dell's one of my favorite MCs, and I think he might have out-rapped Tip. Well, he would out-rap Tip. He run circles around Tip, so that, you know, I just would like to see that.
No doubt. Mix, who you got?
I have the MC that I wish the whole world knew, and he has a very short catalog. E-Rule from LA.
Yo,
E-Rule is really serious. He did that. He did the song "Listen Up."
Listen Up. Hey. Yo, everybody, go listen to "Listen Up" from E-Rule. Yo,
now,
please,
where's this boy from?
Cali,
LA.
Yeah,
what's his name?
E-Rule.
E-R-U-L-E.
It's off of the beat. Who used that beat? It's the doom doo doo doom doo doo. Who did that? Who used that? Mary J used it. Was it Roy Ayers? Yo, listen to that song. Yo, Mix was blessings to you. That's a good pull. That's a good pull. A lot of people don't know about that dude. I saw it on Rap City and I recorded it. I didn't know who he was, and that song stuck with me. Yo, go look that song up. Y'all really gonna like it. I think everybody on this panel gonna like it. I guarantee you.
Word.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Go pick, man. I mean, Mix.
All right. EPMD, Eric and Parish making dollars. What do we change the name of this group to if Parish leaves? What's it gonna be? The first pick I got is Redman. But I think the only problem with Redman is that we get in the Wood Rail, and we've talked about before. The thing I loved about EPMD is they rap together. I feel like Red is gonna rap circles around here. You know what I mean? So that may be a problem. But I love them on Watching Nuggets off of what the album. I think that them two together are crazy. The next one I went with was K Solo.
Hey, that was the same two, fam. The same two.
I went with K Solo. And again, I tell my young boys out here, they be like, "OG, this nigga is fucking spelling to me, my nigga." And I'm like, I know he's spelling. Just, you know, my young boy, like, he like 21, 22. He like, yo, Kill, come on, OG. This nigga is sitting here spelling BIRDS like that. I'm like, just bear with me, young boy. But if you get past the spelling, K Solo's first album, I really fuck with. You know what I mean? Like, even Your Mom's in My Business, even the second album with Spellbound. I know Spellbound was the first album. The second album was with the Pete remix. Was it Spellbound? The first single off the second album was that Lies and Rumors. I forgot the name, but all that to just say, I thought K Solo would have been a better fit with Eric Sermon as far as being kind of like on the same level. The third pick I got is a group a lot of people ain't never heard of, Shades of Lingo. Eric had produced a joint for them called Mad Flavors, and it was a rapper named Colorado and Lingo. I actually doing the research for it. I found this video. Just go to Mad Flavors, Shades of Lingo. Eric is on it. Very dope joint. I love both them MCs. I forgot they even had an album out. I literally just copied it off of eBay right today because I was like, yo, I love these two dudes. So Redman and K Solo, I'm God. I know you had the same. Any reason or differences, anything?
Same reason you said. I instantly went to Redman, but I just felt like Red would wrap circles around Eric Sermon. I felt like I even considered Keith Murray, but I'm like, even Keith Murray, like he kind of too different for E. You know what I'm saying? It might have been some good music, but he kind of looked too different lyrically for E. So the only one that really made sense, and I feel like would have meshed, not perfectly, but meshed the best, was K Solo, man.
All right, no doubt. Who you got, JR?
I was gonna say Red, but then I was thinking, and I was like, what about Keith? But like y'all said, it would be some fire joints, but a whole album with them too, he would run circles around Eric. So it would just be nah. So I was my first choice was Red. My first choice was Red.
Bro, who you got?
My choice, this person probably wrapped circles around him too, but I think this person was a little more underrated, and I think his style fit more and could have stayed within that same vein of EPMD, and it was Jamal from Illegal. And you know, Eric produced his stuff like Fade 'Em All, Keep It Real. You know what I'm saying? If you listen, so he was really good over those Eric Sermon beats, but he wasn't like so left field like Redman and Keith that it wouldn't have threw the continuity off. You know what I'm saying? Because those two are like so different and so left field that Eric would have been severely overshadowed. You know what I'm saying? With Jamal, he's spitting, but he's more traditional as a rapper, and it would have fit better with him. So it'll be EPM JD, you know, Eric. EJMD.
So Eric
and Jamal making dollars. You know what I'm saying? I think it would have fit. It would have fit better than somebody that's so, you know, like Redman, that's so, you know, boisterous. You know what I mean? So I picked Jamal.
All right, Easton, who you got?
It would have been EKMD for me because I did put Keith Murray in there. Just obviously because of the Death Squad music, you've got more of I'm more familiar with how they're going to be sounding together anyway. They're not really on tracks, just them two, but I've heard obviously Eric Sermon and Keith Murray on the same track multiple times, and I think it meshes, man. I think it goes well. So I'd had Keith Murray. That was my pick.
All right, Neutron, who you got?
Keith, but I started thinking. I thought of Smooth from Nice and Smooth.
Okay.
Yeah, because his delivery was a little slow. It wasn't fast paced like Parish. He didn't rhyme super fast, so I thought that would have been a good pick. Smooth in there.
No doubt. Mix, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Ed O.G. because I think Ed O.G. has the husky voice, and I think that voice could, you know, fill the void from Parish Smith. I think the chemistry would have been really good. You know, he another big brother, you know, from a spot that, you know, really didn't get a whole lot of love or quality over the years. So I think Ed O.G. just is a nice fit.
Dope pick. All right, Little Brother. I got two more. Little Brother. Who will we produce? Who's replacing Ninth Wonder as the producer? I got Knots. I actually think Knots is just awesome. To me, Knots is the closest thing, in my opinion, next to Madlib that we got to J Dilla. Like, as a producer, he's one of the last few of the Mohicans that still fuck my head up. Like, and what I mean by that is like, I'm like, if JR's been over here, if you come over here and be like, yo, Kill, recreate, come clean. I could do that. I could recreate. You asked me to recreate some Dilla shit, nigga, I'm not even trying to get ahead of it. I'm not even fucking with y'all. And I feel the same way with Knots. Knots is baseline, just Knots is a fucking alien. So I would replace Ninth with Knots, and I was never a big Ninth fan when he first came out, because even when I would hear it, I'd be like, yo, why does drum sound so stiff? And this is when making beats on a computer just started. Like, I know everybody makes beats on a computer, but when Little Brother came out, we were strictly MPCs, SP12s, ASR10. So when niggas like, oh, he uses a computer program, I was like, oh, okay, that's why his drums sound like that. Like, nah, I'm good. Now, Knife has definitely gotten better. Like, the stuff, seeing him on the machine, and now I can say I do like a lot of Knife stuff, but not in the beginning. So I got nods. God, who you got?
I picked College Dropout, Ye. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that version of Ye was, I just feel like he was like, he always been versatile, but I feel like he was versatile in a different way doing that first stage of his career. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to always play with the Congos back then. Like the Congos was a major part of Ye's early production. You know what I'm saying? One of the sounds he would use, but I just like he would mesh. You know what I'm saying? He would find a way to mesh with them if it's not the sped up soul samples he was known for. He blew up off of. He would find a way to, you know what I'm saying, to mesh with them. College Dropout era, Ye.
Dope. Yeah, who you got?
I was gonna say that one, but it was a one. I would want to hear Phonte on like a Just Blaze for me.
Okay.
Just because of the funk that he brings to it, and I know that Phonte can rock with it, so I would have loved to see that. But my first one was, definitely College Dropout, Ye. But I would want to see him on Just Blaze too, so that's why I went with him.
Who you got, Ralph?
I went with Hit Boy. I went with Hit Boy. I feel like his stock is at an all-time high right now, and I feel like he can like get in a session with them and provide a good platform for them to do what they do, beat wise, and a good selection of beats that's not overwhelming their lyricism, but it's fitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate what he did with Nas' album, and what he did with Benny. Like, I just feel like with Lil Brother, that would have been cool. That would have fit perfectly for me.
That's dope. Easton, who you got, bro?
So I had 3 for this one. I had Pete Rock as my first choice. I think that sound went well. Pete Rock would have worked well. And my honorable mentions were early Kanye and Crisis as well. Those two as my honorable mentions. Yeah, Crisis, if I had to pick out of the 3, my preference would be Pete Rock, but I think for the chemistry rise, I think Crisis would be the best shout. Obviously, they've got that work together anyway. They know how each other works, and their stuff always sounds good together. So, and obviously, done a lot on Fonte's solos and that as well. So yeah, that would have been my picks for that one.
All right, no doubt. What you got now, Tron? I'm assuming you had Crisis.
Yes, I did. I recently listened to the Jericho Jackson album, and I just was like, I can hear Phonte all over. I can hear Big Pooh. I can hear the Hold Up Brother camp on there. Plus, they're from the same camp. But yeah, Crisis. That's my pick.
All right, and who you got, Mix?
I'm gonna go with somebody that's Monet Divine Nasty on the production, and it's ironic that I'm saying on a Sunday the brother named Praise. Praise is very nasty. He produced Torre, most notably.
Okay.
Praise kind of puts you in the mind. He's somewhere between Knots and Dilla. He's nasty, real nasty with it. Serious drums.
All right, dope. Now, here's the last one. I don't know how I forgot this, so this is gonna be off the top. Outkast. Big Boy wants to keep rapping. Who do you replace 3000 with? For me, the easy pick is Killer Mike, just because that fits in. I've never actually been the biggest Killer Mike fan in the world. So for me, I picked CeeLo, because I think CeeLo kind of is a close emulation to what 3000 is. And if I had to break the rules and pull from somebody right now, I would go with Anderson .Paak, because I feel like Pac is a little bit of everything 3000 is. You don't know what Pac is. Like, they asked me the other day, like, yo, is he a rapper or a singer? And I was like, he kind of does everything, you know? And then we was watching the video. I don't know if y'all saw him. He has on YouTube, there's like, I forgot what some streaming service he has it for, but it's a live, just a live concert of him, in a room. And they was like, oh shit, he plays the drums too. And I'm like, yo, this dude does everything. So if I could go into the future and break the own rule of keeping it within the context of the time, but I think Anderson .Paak and Big Boy would create some incredible stuff right there. God, who you got for this one?
I gotta go with CeeLo. You know what I'm saying? CeeLo Green. Yeah, that make the most sense.
Yeah. JR, same thing, CeeLo?
Yes, sir.
All right. What about you, Ro?
If this was happening like now, this is like now, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Big Crit.
Now?
I mean, well, either which way, y'all can pull. I just pulled Pop because I just felt like he's the perfect. Like I felt like he would be perfect. You know what I mean?
Right. I went with Big Crit.
Okay. I ain't mad at Crit. That's a good pick too.
I feel like the country. He's country. He owns it, represents it. Heavily lyrical, heavily soulful. Can give you all different types of feels on his music. I feel like Crit would fit in that vein with Big Boy if you were to get rid of Andre 3000. I had one more and I cannot remember who it was, but yeah, I would go with Big Crit. Damn, what? All
right, who you got, Easton?
Off the top, I'll probably go with Ludacris. More later on in his career, though, not so early. More later on when he was still kind of colourful, but a little bit more reflective as well. I'd probably go with a late Luda to join Big Boy.
I ain't mad at that at all. No, Tron, who you got?
I got Raekwon.
Okay.
Because you remember on
I remember Skewing on the Bar. I remember you ain't got to tell me. You remember?
Man. Jesus, like, this is a. I don't know if Organized produced that or Outkast was in they producing back at the time. I have to go back.
I think Organized did that.
But that beat, the way it knocked and the way he wrote on that, yeah, Raekwon. This surprised the hell out of me when I heard that shit. I'm like, wow.
They kind of similar too, coming from totally different regions. Like Big Boy and Ray is kind of similar too. Like I like that.
Yeah.
That's a dope pick. And Mix, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Fonte because I think Fonte could bring that Maurice White element. To that
singing.
Yeah, that's very dope too. That's a dope pick too. Damn, now niggas got me wanting the damn Big Boy. I like everybody's pick. I'm like, like. Now, who will we get to produce this? Because I know, and here's the thing, let's take a sec, because I know the inner soul is going to want to say Organized. Just a reminder, I don't know about y'all, I haven't heard an Organized produced beat that I really fuck with in probably over 10 years. So I know the good go-to would be Organized, I get that, but, so who do we want? Because I feel like everybody had great picks, but who do we want to produce this Big Boy smorgasbord? Because everybody.
I feel like it got to depend on who the partner in rhyme is.
Well, who'd you pick, God? You picked
CeeLo Green. So I would pick that Organized. Yeah, I would pick that Organized. You know what I'm saying? I would pick them for that. But I'm thinking, I want to know who would y'all like to hear the tandem of Raekwon and Big Boy, who would produce that? Because I love that lyrically, but who is the one most fit to drop that backdrop, the soundscape for that?
I'm gonna tell you something crazy right now, Madlib. Because Madlib to me has been in his
I'm not mad.
And I mean, what Madlib has done for Freddie Gibbs with Bandana, I mean, my heart would just say, to me, Madlib is now what Premier used to be for me. Like, I feel like if you say Madlib with Black Star, can't wait to hear it. You tell me Madlib with Phil the West Side Gun, can't wait to hear it. Like, it literally is like, if Madlib is doing it, I feel like he can do no wrong. It's gonna be all over the place too. Like, that's the other thing. Like, with a Knots, it's gonna be a very boom bap-ish feel, but I feel like Madlib is gonna do some shit that's gonna just have them both going all over. He could give you a RZA type vibe to give you that Raekwon, to give you that feeling back. He could give you something for, Big Boy. Yeah, I don't know who else. Who y'all would have.
That probably gotta be the one, because he the most. I feel like he probably the most eclectic that could mesh they two worlds together. I don't think it could be nobody from the East Coast, and I don't think it could be nobody just from the South.
Right. Who you got, Mix?
I'm gonna go with Amp Fiddler, the guy who taught J Dilla how to use the sample.
The only thing with Amp, I don't know enough about him though. That's the only thing for me.
I could tell you a little bit. He was a member of Parliament Funkadelic. He was a music director for Lucy Pearl. He worked with D'Angelo, Mel LaRue. He worked with Maxwell.
Yes, sir.
He's everywhere. He's one of the probably one of the baddest all around musician producer type cats, like period. Like any
Now
style.
tell me this:
like any
can
genre.
you point me in the direction of something that he did? Like for instance, can you be like he produced this for such and such, or he?
Let me give me a second on that.
Yeah. I mean, take your time. It ain't even gotta be the show, but like anytime when people bring up names that I'm not familiar with, I want the viewers to be able to be like, all right, this is where I could go to kind of figure something else out from. But take your time. There's no rush.
All right.
There's no rush. Now, JR, I had to come up with some R&B groups. Okay. Now, across the board, we're just replacing the lead singer because that's normally what happens in R&B groups. To me, it's why we don't have no groups no more because guess what, y'all? If all of us was a group right now and Rel was the lead singer, we all know that nigga's leaving. We all know. It's like this nigga only
he's got
rental. So what the rest of us gonna do when he leaves? So we're just replacing lead singers. If Jodeci breaks up and you gotta replace Casey has moved on. This is easy for me, Cisco.
Yeah.
I'm going with Cisco.
Yeah.
Definitely Cisco.
Yeah,
Is there,
that was baby Cisco. That was KC Jr.
Yeah, I felt like that was KC Jr. Mix, who you got?
I'm gonna go Dave Hollister.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Oh, wow.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dave.
I'm not mad at that
Dave
at all.
can do it all.
Dave can do it all. I'm not mad at that. Next up, Tony.
Don't do
Who
it.
are we replacing Raphael Sadiq with?
Nobody.
Right.
I got somebody.
I got somebody too. Mix, who you got?
Stokely from Men Condition.
The funny thing is, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know.
I can give you
I
that.
ain't mad at that, Mix.
Stokely was supposed to replace Raphael Sadiq.
That's
because I think Sadiq was on a Breakfast Club and he was saying Stokely hit him up like, yo, nigga, they trying to replace you with me? Like, you know what I mean? So Stokely was supposed to be replacing Raphael Sadiq in the group. The person I had was Bilal.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I had Bilal.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's kind of crazy. I mean, keep in mind, it's not a whole. When it comes to male singers, and we don't have a plethora. We got a plethora of MCs. Everybody rap. I can go on my timeline right now, and I guarantee you the first 10 people who I see tweets from probably rap. You know what I mean? I've been looking for a male singer to work with for the past 20 years.
Hey, I got one for the first one for Jodeci. What y'all think about Tyrese for KC? That the texture of the voice is kind of
because if we take away from we not talking about tweeting case, we ain't talking about tweeting Tyrese. We just talking about
sweet lady Tyrese.
That sweet lady Tyrese. Yes sir.
He got the joint he dropped. I don't know how recent it was, but he's singing on this Shane or something. Shane. Yeah, Shane. Yeah, I ain't mad at that either. Now here's a good one, JR. Me and T was talking about this. SWV. Who do you replace Coco with?
Nobody.
Well, here's the problem, bro. Guess what? Taj and the other chick got to eat. They got kids to feed. They got grandkids now. We got to replace them with somebody. Here's the crazy part. I said Brandy.
I got one.
Who you got, Mix?
Shanice Wilson. She'll run circles on her.
I'll give you that.
Is that Smile? I love the Smile Flex.
Shanice can blow. Yeah.
Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl.
I can give you that.
That's my girl right there.
I said Brandy because it would finally give Brandy the street cred she wants so bad.
I'm not arguing with you. Nope. I'm not gonna do this. Nope.
I'm telling you, yo, JR, one day me and you are gonna meet Brandy and I'm gonna ask her, haven't you wanted street credibility since fucking I Want to Be Down? And I guarantee she's gonna say, yes, Kill, I do.
I'm not hearing what you're saying, so go ahead.
What y'all think about Rashawn Patterson replacing Raphael Sadiq?
I don't know a lot about Rashawn. That's the JR question.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I would knock that though. That would be all right. Honestly.
Yeah, that would work.
That would work.
Here's one that I don't have an answer for. I said somebody, but again, this is like the whole Phife thing with Tribe. Groove Theory. If you're Bryce, who do you replace Amel LaRue with? this was a reach, y'all. I got Shantae Savage. I know a lot of people didn't like her first album. I love the first album. I would say Shantae Savage. Mix who you got.
I'm impressed. What?
Thank you, JR. R&B cool. I got Shantae Savage. Who you got, Mix?
I'm gonna go Esperanza Spalding.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. She's right in her lane. That's her
I
lane.
haven't heard in a while too. Who you got, bro?
That's a tough one to follow up, but I got Guapale.
Okay.
That's another good one.
I didn't probably either. Those are both low picks.
Yeah.
Tidra. Yo, y'all throw it out. Y'all
throwing darts, man. Y'all throwing darts, man.
Yeah. Y'all niggas need to A&R something. Somebody need to get Bryce on the phone. You wasted 20 years of your life trying to act in these goddamn barbershop movies. You should have been in the studio with these.
I got a question about the Jodeci one. What about Case?
I can see that.
I don't know if Case.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can. Case to me has always been a surface singer. Like
I'll be interested to hear it. He ain't got no range though.
I don't know if Case can go in the deep end. Like you let Cisco go to church, he gonna take you to church and back. Even with Tyrese. I don't know if Case can give you that.
But are you keeping y'all saying take it away, KC? We're keeping JoJo there.
Yeah, KC has just left. KC was like, "Fuck y'all niggas," and left us. So we just need to replace KC. We can't take away both of them. We could just be Devontae and Dalvin, and I'll go with Cisco and Tank. No, not Tank. Jaheim. I give me Cisco and Jaheim to replace KC and JoJo if both of them want to roll out.
Wow. Okay.
See, I'm not a big Tank dude like that, so I don't know about Tank.
Me neither.
But I'll take Cisco and Jaheim, and I'm talking Jaheim first album Jaheim, not Jaheim leaving a Whitney Houston funeral Jaheim. First album Jaheim.
They'll kill.
I'll go with that one. So
hey, it's different eras, but I could kind of see my prerogative Bobby Brown taking Casey's spot.
Oh yeah.
That's the attitude. The attitude and the energy.
You gonna say singles?
Nah, the attitude and the energy.
Yeah.
All right.
Like the characters
I got is Lucy Pearl, who's replacing Dawn. I got India Davenport from the Brand New Heavens.
That's a good one. That's good.
People slept on India Davenport's first album. Her solo album is dope. She got a song called Bring It On. Primo remixed it. Very dope album, that India Davenport. Brand New Heavies to me, India is one of those voices I love. I'm not saying she's the best singer, but her voice, I love her voice. So India for me to replace Dawn. Mix, who you got?
I got Lettucey.
I'm mad at that either.
Okay.
I'll go with Marsha Ambrosius.
I ain't mad at that.
Not mad at Marsha either.
Yeah.
Marsha Ambrosius over Raphael Sadiq at production. Yeah, I definitely ain't mad at that.
I ain't touching nobody from that Vogue, man. I gotta sit this one out.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. All right, yo. Dope show, y'all. I think, everybody up here, we need to be A&Rs on somebody later. We done pieced together some groups. We done something that ain't never been done in hip hop. I swear for God, if any of y'all niggas bite this shit, y'all better tell them where y'all got it from, because I guarantee you have never seen this topic done before. So y'all motherfucking shark bite niggas better be like, yo, I got this from Killer Apartment 5B.
Niggas bit off a kill shit.
Yeah. Exactly. This don't. I'm telling y'all, don't just take this shit and bite. I Am God. Tell them about the album. Where can they get it? The video is bananas. You gotta talk to me a little bit about the video shoot too, because it's a real video. And there's no discredit to other people who shoot videos. I've shot some videos. We just go out in the hood with our cameras. This guy got a whole set. This is a real video. So talk about the video, how that come together, concepts, everything.
Well, the joint is The Ghost of Cavalier Mitchell. That's the title of the joint. And it's an ode to Twista. You know what I'm saying? That's like my favorite, Chicago MC ever. Definitely top 10 for me. But one of his earliest rap names was Cavalier. I honestly thought it was his real government name, but his government name is Carl Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? But in the Kanye West college dropout booklet, you know how they got the yearbook pictures, they got Twista labeled as Cavalier Mitchell. So I always thought that was his real name. I just recently found out one of his earliest MC names was Cavalier. But that was just me, you know what I'm saying, like flexing a Chicago double time Twister style, you know what I'm saying? But the video, I definitely felt like the music video is a lost art, especially, you know what I'm saying, like with a lot of dudes, you know what I'm saying, like it's just a bunch of the niggas, you know what I'm saying, with a couple pistols or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or 1 or 2 shots. So it's like I kind of want to, you know what I'm saying, get back. I consider myself a throwback MC, you know what I'm saying, anywhere from mid 90s to early 2000s. That's the type of MCs that raised me, you know what I'm saying? So I carry on the tradition that they laid out, you know what I'm saying? So just, you know what I'm saying, just always want to be creative. I can't express how many times that I didn't really care for a song, but I seen a music video and I'm like, oh, should I rock with this now? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like music, when you create music, you got to play to the listener's senses, not just the ears, you know what I'm saying? Because there's also a visual aspect entertainment as well. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to play with a motherfucker vision. You got to play with the eyes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to throw them different looks, you know what I'm saying? So that whole concept of the video, like the Crazy House, the Straight Jacket, that's an ode to Twista's Kamikaze. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the album cover, even the title, Kamikaze, and the album cover, you got the straight jacket. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you know, in Chicago, we say, oh, if motherfucker going hard, like, oh, he going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like double entendre, play off the shit. I'm going crazy on the joint, but actually in the video, I'm going crazy house shit too. So, but yeah, that was a dope ass set. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just trying to, you know what I'm saying, carry on tradition and make shit interesting and creative again. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so where can they get the album out?
So the album right now is exclusively available exclusively on Bandcamp. You can get it at godsgift.bandcamp.com. That's GAWDSGIFT.BANDCAMP.com. You know what I'm saying? It'll be out on streaming April 16th. You know what I'm saying? But right now we're trying to get a little money off this. You know what I'm saying? So exclusively Bandcamp for right now, and it's I Am God and Custom Made, produced entirely by Custom Made, The Eternal Reflection. You know, just a little bit a backstory about the title and the cover. You know what I'm saying? The cover is actually shout out 46 Designs. I had an artist commission an image of a shorty who was murdered in Chicago back in '94. Robert Yummy Sanderson, you know what I'm saying? Like 11-year-old kid, you know what I'm saying? Murder execution style. Allegedly a member of the Black Disciples, you know what I'm saying? The BDs out south, you know what I'm saying? In the Roseland neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Allegedly while on like a gang mission or whatever, he killed a young lady, you know what I'm saying? And he was murdered, you know, to prevent him from talking to the police or anything like that. And that image, it was an infamous image. It was that story actually made the Time magazine for that year, '94. And if you notice, Pac, when he was in Clinton Correctional Facility, he had that image blew up behind him during an interview. So that story made its way around the states, you know what I'm saying, that year. And to tie it all in with the Eternal Reflection, it's basically like the more things change, the more they stay the same. That was back in '94. It's 2021, and it's the same shit happening out here. You know what I'm saying? It's happening everywhere, but I'm from Chicago, so I can only give you what I experienced. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just like every time that image, you know what I'm saying, and that story never, you know what I'm saying, I never forgot that shit. So it's kind of like every time I hear one of these shorties, you know what I'm saying, losing their lives to gang violence, gun violence, I'll automatically think about Yummy, you know what I'm saying, and his situation and what happened. So just to tie it all in, like the Eternal Reflection is the Chicago experience as I live. You know what I'm saying? So bandcamp.com, go get it. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about it. I feel like this is really a MC's project. I'm bearing it all. It's concepts, you know what I'm saying, different flows, styles, you know what I'm saying, like everything. It's not I Am God. It's not the first project, you know what I'm saying? This is something different. So like I said, like be ready to sit down and digest the music when you put this one on.
And I'll say this, and I want to salute you as an MC, especially being a young MC, because you're what, 35?
Yeah, about to be 35, yes sir.
See, the thing is like, and it's a blessing. Like, people send me music every day on Twitter. OG, what you think of this? What you think of this? And most of it, you know, it's good, it's cool. You know, I give critiques, but when you sent me the last album, like, after the instant listen, I was like, I sent this to my crew, like, yo, niggas gotta push this. Like, this shit is dope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, after one listen, it was like, yo, called up Portion. I'm like, yo, we word of mouth, get on this. Like, we need to get this out there. And then the same thing with this album, you know what I mean? And what I love about what you do is like everything that you're saying, because I always tell young MCs this, I'm like, bruh, why should I listen to you? And most MCs don't understand it. It's like, because I'm nice, because I'm this, because I'm that. And I'm like, nigga, everybody's fucking nice. Like, this ain't 94 no more. This ain't 94 when back, I remember being in Philly in 90 and me and like maybe 3-4 other guys in the 12 block radius were the only people who rap or DJ or maybe. It ain't like that shit no more, y'all. Everybody rap. Everybody rap. So I'm literally like, why should I listen to you? And, you know, you blessed me with the album before to check it out, and it's dope. But the thing is just from hearing you talk, I'm intrigued to go back and listen to the album now with newer ears. And that's what I'm always trying to tell younger MCs. It's like, this is an example of when I say, why should I listen to you? What's a good fucking answer? Not because I'm nice, not because I'm dope, not because it is, but everything you talked about. From now to cover art, now I'm intrigued about that. From the video, I didn't know that the video was a testament to Twista. So, but this is what I'm talking about when I ask MCs like, why should we listen? And that's the perfect answer, because I get music thrown at me every day from independent artists. There's new music that comes out from known artists, and I'm like, why am I fitting you into my rotation? And what you just explained to me, in my opinion, for anybody listening, should have intrigued them enough for me to be like, yo, let me get this boy a listen. You know what I mean? So I just salute you for that, because you're doing what a lot of younger MCs don't do. A lot of MCs, period, nowadays don't do. You know, it's kind of just like, I'm nice, just tune in. And it's like, nah, nigga, that ain't enough. You know, with everybody rapping and people dropping albums every week, like, I'm nice just ain't a solid enough answer for me. So again, just saluting you for the work you put in, and this album not sounding like the last album. And from the point of which you told me the last time we had you on, that you had even stopped rhyming before the last album. So I just salute to you, bro. Just giving you your roses now. So, you know, just a salute for that. JR, give them everything, good brother. Where can they hear you? Where can they check you out at?
Check us out, R&B Reps on Instagram, the R&B Representatives on Instagram. We just put out our episode of Catch That with Brian Alexander Morgan today. Check it out. It's on YouTube. It was dope. Brian was singing all through the joint, so that joint was funny. But
now school me, good brother. Who's Brian Alexander Morgan? Is that the producer of SWV?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Just don't look at me in that tone of face. Like, no, you, because you're looking at me like nigga. And I'm like, don't look at me in that tone of face. Like, you acting like I said Timberland. Who's Timberland? Oh my God, Justin. You know, nigga, Brian Alexander. That's not like the. You act like you said I had Babyface on. I'm like, hold on, JR. Who's Babyface? Like, dude is not a household name. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, and that's no disrespect, but I'm just saying the average person don't know who produced SWV. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Everybody else up here knew who Brian Alexander Morgan was?
I didn't.
And crickets, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
No, I found out him about Questlove Supreme.
Right. I'm just saying he's not. It's no disrespect to him. I'm just saying.
I know he's not a household name, but I'm like, everybody that knows SWV know he gave him that sound. So
but all I'm saying is that, and not you. I'm not saying it's for you. I'm saying because I have to remember people are watching. When I'm talking, I'm always just talking to the six of us, but people watching.
Yeah.
People, everybody's too sensitive nowadays. Everybody's not gonna know everybody's name. Like I said, if somebody said, "Oh, who's Babyface? Quincy Jones? Who's that?" Brian Alexander Morgan is not and I'm just that person. Even at work, I'll be like, I ask the dumb questions because I've been in rooms where people nobody know what they're talking about. I'm always like, yo, who's that? So I don't mind being that boy to be like, yo, I'll ask the question. So okay, I didn't know. Cool, thank you. So I'm sorry, keep going with
just catch that or catch us on the R&B Reps on Twitter. And our website is rnbreps.com, and you can get everything from our radio show, our live, our YouTube page, all that. You can go to rnbreps.com.
All right, no doubt. Rel, tell them everything, the clothing line, everything. Where can they get at you and cop some stuff from?
Yeah, I need a hat.
I got you, bro. Uptown J Ben on Instagram, Fair Grade on Instagram, Fair Grade, not with it's PHAREGRADE on Instagram. The link is in the bio. If you see anything on there you like, just hit me up. And JBen215 on Twitter. That's it.
All right, Easton, where can they get at you, good brother?
I'm only on Twitter at the moment. It's Eastern Major on Twitter. I also do a hip hop blog. It's called everythingspotlight.blogspot.com, and it's my In the Spotlight rap blog. So check that out if you get a chance. That's it, man.
Right. Neltron, where can they get at you, brother?
Neltron 8000 on IG and Twitter.
All right, Mix, where can they get at you?
On Instagram, Mix Mess, MIXXMESS, short for Mix Messiah. On Twitter, it's Messiah Mix. And then on Facebook, it's Michael G. Dunn with the T'Challa picture for the profile.
All right. I got to shout out a whole bunch of things here. First up, I got my brother Brizz's book, Air Hustling.
Just ordered it.
I tell people this all the time. I'm a producer. I am not an engineer. They are two totally different things. It's like if you take your car to All Tune and Lube, they cannot fix your transmission. You got to go to a transmission spot for that. Most times in life, the producer had an engineer. Premier had Eddie Sancho. Pete Rock had Jeremy Starr. Just Blaze had Young Guru. Timbaland had Jimmy Douglas. So back in those days, we had a producer who had an engineer. Now with so many people recording in their own house, you're having to become your own engineer. When I first got my Pro Tools set up, I got the Pro Tools for Dummies book. That joint is like 400 pages. This is a real short to the guide book. My man Briz was the in-house engineer for Cool and Dre through those Cool and Dre years. So all that stuff for Game, Rick Ross, Christina Milian, all of that, this was his joint. You can get this at airhustlingmedia.com. Next up, we got my man MC Till, his books, the Boom Bap Review. You can cop these joints at boombappreview.com. Y'all know I'm a bookworm. And then last but not least, Trey Lee's book, Glory the Manuscript, which is a breakdown of his whole album, Glory, his mindset behind it, the lyrics. You can bang this out at tracyleemusic.com. For me, it's just willmakebeatsforfood.com, at Kill889 on Twitter, IG. Y'all, epic show. Again, just one more time. If y'all like this shit, that's cool, man. I get it. You know, we should use dope ideas, but goddamn, the least y'all can do is give a nigga credit, okay? Because God gives me these points every week. I tell people, Easton be like, what's the topic about, Kill? I'm like, I don't know. It'll come to me. I don't know what it is. It'll come to me. I don't know it right now because things just come. So again, take this idea, run with it, but just do me the justice. Just clear the samples. That's all I'm asking niggas to do. Just clear the sample. Just say, got this from the homie Kill, Apartment 5B, check out him and his crew, and then you can run with it. I want people to run with it, but just don't act like y'all came up with this shit. That's the bite right there. So let's not do that. All right, y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
Respect, man.
Respect, y'all.